What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Shredcast, episode 26. I am so stoked because I got SonicHaXD on the show. I'm so excited for you to be here, dude. You just got back from vacation. How was Europe?
How was Europe? Okay.
Yeah, you just got back
Let's
from vacation.
see. That's true. I just got back from vacation
Yes.
and I've been gone for like 40-ish days and just like going from like Italy to Paris, France, and then to the Netherlands. And it
Oh,
was
that
very
sounds like fun.
fun and very tiring. But basically
Yeah.
every single day we were just like walking and looking at some scenery. Basically it's very interesting to have like because when I get contacted by people like while I was on the trip, like you contacted me, and basically every time when somebody contacts me on the trip, I'll be like, hi, sorry, I can't really talk right now, I'm in the Roman Colosseum, so it's like, just walking around here. Hi, sorry, I'm on the boat looking at the
Yeah.
Eiffel Tower over here. Like literally I was doing something every time someone was
Yeah.
contacting me. Yeah, it's I would say it's like life-changing experience in the terms of like just what we saw and stuff, which I will make a vlog about it really soon about what we did.
Good.
So we can look forward to that.
Yeah, stay tuned for I was gonna say stay tuned for that, dude. I want to watch that. That sounds dope.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, we got you on to talk about a little bit MK. Real fast.
Okay.
We were talking about this before we started recording. You are would you consider yourself like an MK YouTuber? Like, is that like most of your stuff, or
Yes.
NRS YouTuber?
Especially because not only just NRS actually, because like sometimes I would even do things that are like Midway or the movies, because movies aren't NRS related too. I love covering the Legends movies, the animated stuff. And
Yeah.
well, I love covering like all sorts of Mortal Kombat related news.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't say news. I like talking about the story modes and like what like stories and stuff. So like the
Right.
movies and the game stories, and that would be what I consider like the main thing I do. And yeah, I would say I am an MK like content creator
Yeah.
because since 2019 I've been just like nonstop like doing Mortal Kombat 11 stuff basically.
Right. And so before that, you did YouTube poop. And that I had never heard of that until you told me what I read your bio, and then you describe what it is, and I was like, dude, what the heck is YouTube poop? That's nuts. And I look it up, and I actually like, you explained it to me, and I saw a couple of your videos, and I totally get it. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I've seen that, I just didn't know it had a name.
Yeah, it's sort of like, imagine a different type of like the back in 2016 there was the MLG edits or stuff like that. And then like, yeah, when I was a kid I just loved doing that. It kind of helped me with like my editing skills in a way, so I'm happy it got carried over to what I do now. And you mentioned like how I sort of became like, you wanted to hear how I became like a MK
like
YouTuber. So
yeah, like how do you go
right?
from doing that to MK? Was it just like, I'm interested in MK and NRS stuff and everything, or is it?
So I'm a person who kind of like changes like hobbies like depending on like what phase of my life I am in.
I know
Because
exactly
even before,
what you mean.
yeah, even before when I was into YouTube pooping, I was into Lego stop motion. Like that was my jam. I love doing Lego stop motion stuff. Be like, oh, I gotta take a picture, take a picture.
I was into YouTube pooping.
It's such a weird like phrase. What do you call it? When I was in college, we had to make a self. What do they call those? It's like, you want to get into the job interview, you need your like
resume.
Thank you, resume.
Yeah. Okay.
My head is always filled with English and Chinese, and I have to translate it constantly whenever I'm thinking of the words and stuff.
No,
so
that's
I had to prepare my resume. And like 2018, I think, because in college we had a thing where we had to like, for 1 year, we had an internship for like a job. And so I had to prepare my resume. Literally, like I talk about, oh, these are my projects that I've done at school. And one of the pages is like, so I'm a YouTuber. I make these things called YTPs, and the guy's like millions of views on it. Like one of the pages, it just does say that. Yeah. And I got the job, so I would assume that worked out, I guess, with that on my resume.
Right.
But yeah, the transition. So from YouTube pooping, I weirdly enough, like around 2015, that was when MKX came out.
Right.
And I thought there were some pretty funny things that happened in the story mode of that game, where I'm just like, I don't know, like Kotal Khan getting defeated by Kun Jin or something like that. Be like, what? The Khan got defeated by one of these combat kids, and like these little tidbits, and I just kind of made like five videos, really short videos, just talking about like little funny things that happened in MKX, and that was that. And then MK11 happens, and I was like, oh, let me do that again, basically. I'm going to just like do one for Kotal Khan, do one for Sonya, and do one for Kano, because I think these three mainly had some pretty bad funny things that happened in the story mode for them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I uploaded them. It did decent.
There's a lot of funny things that happened in the story mode in MK11, dude. So it's like...
For sure. Yeah. It's anyway, a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And then it's like, they weren't that successful, and I was like, oh, well, I had my fun. I was going to do a Chronica episode, but they weren't that successful. Let me work back to... Funny enough, back then, I was sort of popular because of an anime called Beastars. I don't know if you heard about that one.
No.
It's an anime, and like I
definitely gonna look it up after this, though. So
it's a good one. It's a very good show.
Okay.
But it's like I made a video basically because I only read like the comic, the manga of it, and I was like, this is very good. Why don't people talk about this more? And then like when the anime came out, I made videos about that. And then that's when Mortal Kombat came on. I was like, I'll just make a video about Mortal Kombat. But I'll probably get back to my B-Star stuff because I'm kind of successful with that. Lo and behold, like a couple months later, the algorithm all of a sudden turned my like video that had like maybe 10,000 views and then just bumped it up to like 200 and 300,000 views. And I was like, let me capitalize on this. And I made more MK11 videos. I did some for Frost, Devora, and like Noob Saibot. And then
is this still in the YTP category, by the way?
No. Okay. Now we're on to the well, I call them my sucks videos, because like I talk about, oh, this character sucks. It's kind of like my thing on the channel. It's like when you see the word sucks, it's like, oh, it's that kind of video where I got the text to speech voice, and I do the funny edits and talk about what happens in the story mode. That I did that kind of style.
Okay.
And then after that, I just really capitalized on the MK, like the way, basically. And then Aftermath came out, which was also very successful, and just kind of never stopped since, I guess, when I blew up in 2020. And I just kept making it until now, basically.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, like I saw you on the movies too, Injustice and everything, and those did really, really well. So no, that's cool. That's cool that you made that shit, because I always thought to myself, because gosh, when I first started, I primarily focused on Project L.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. That's what I really wanted to do, and because the news is so few and far between, I was just I can't, you know, you can't.
That's what I was thinking too. It's like, I'm interested in what you can talk about over Project L.
Right. I mean, there's so many like predictions that you can make, you know, or what characters would do. Can I lower my camera? There we go.
There you go.
What characters I think are going to be, you know, in the game, what characters would be good in the game and stuff like that.
Did you play League? Were you a League of Legends player?
I was a Season 1 League of Legends player. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so then you know the lore, you know the characters that you can
very well
talk about and whatnot.
I remember when there was 30 characters. Like,
oh my gosh.
I remember. I still to this day I'm like, dude, the original Morgana splash art was probably like better than the one they had. Like, you know, stuff, like I still remember stuff like that. But
Season 3 veteran, by the way.
Oh, there you go.
So, I played when Zach was added.
Oh, dude.
Just so that you know how old this guy has been too.
Dude, like Zach in the bushes just cranking it up to invade is like, yeah. Yeah, and then you kill him and you don't kill. Oh gosh, dude, Zach was so annoying. Dude, what lane were you, by the way?
Jungle and support.
Okay. So yeah, I played
I suck the most on top lane, despite I know that being probably the easiest lane to handle. But I don't know.
I was the
That
same
lane was my
way.
worst.
I was the same with top lane. I did not like going the top lane. I primarily did mid lane and jungle
Okay.
because I like to look at the map and help out. And mid lane was probably the best characters I played. So I played a lot of Diana, Akali. Like
Oh, okay.
I like the assassin dash characters, you know. And
Back when I was in high school is when I just played a lot, and like I
mhm.
played with my friends, and so
Nice.
they play the carry roles, so like mid lane,
By the
top
way,
lane,
audience, we are
ADCs.
going to talk about MK.
Yeah, we're
Don't
just
worry.
chatting.
We yeah, don't
We're
worry.
almost
We
done.
are
We're almost done.
yeah. Anyway, you back when
Yeah,
you're in high school, go ahead.
yeah, just like would play jungle and then like support and stuff like that. I think
Hmm.
Alistair and Karma were like some of my favorites.
Oh, that's
Either
sick.
like tanky crowd control or just like good poking and shielding stuff. And then
Hmm.
the jungle I played, I had like almost half the junglers, but like if I were to say like one of my favorites would be like a reworked Warwick. Big fan of that.
Yeah, Warwick's OP after a while. Yeah, I mean he's always been like, you know, at least, you know, somewhat top tier. But
Yeah, but I
after the
mean like
rework,
before
he
reworked
shot.
Warwick, holy crap,
Yeah,
like old ass model. Like how do you even
yeah,
this character is like not as fun as he was like now.
yeah. But they, dude, now there's 164 characters. To make a fighting
Oh,
game out of 164 with 164 characters to choose from is just nuts. And literally, I would say about 2/3 of that roster is already fighting game characters.
oh yeah,
Like
for sure.
easily, you know, they just added or announced Yasuo, and we
Oh,
still
for
have,
sure.
yeah, we still haven't seen Alawi, Akali, and what, gosh dang it, Katarina,
Katarina,
hmm
Darius from what I recall. Echo too, and Jinx.
Echo, Jinx, yeah, and Jinx was not in the beta, but she's definitely there. Is the thing. Oh,
She was like
Ari,
announced very early on. Yeah.
yeah, Ari's also there. But I mean, shoot, you can add Set, Vi, Samira. There's so many characters that would make
Yeah.
great fighting game characters. So, yeah, and there's so many different kinds of options. So I'm
It's
really,
not just yeah, I think the exciting thing is it's like they also have to be creative too because they only have four abilities in League of Legends and like you just see Yasuo's trailer, it's like he just does a lot of like new sing 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 and whatnot,
yeah.
slashes and stuff. It's like they gotta get really creative and the animation is stellar just looking
Oh
at it.
yeah.
It's like
And most of the
wow.
people now, I could be wrong, audience. If you know the answer to this, please comment down below. If I recall correctly, a lot of the devs are Marvel versus Capcom devs.
I have heard about this. Yeah,
So yeah,
slightly.
yeah. And then the Cannon brothers are just Street Fighter and Marvel versus Capcom. They're just, that's all they're about, is Street Fighter and Marvel versus Capcom. And you can tell the game
Hmm.
is very Marvel versus Capcom influence, not just because it's tagged, just its whole gameplay is very MVC. So, but yeah.
Which is hype.
Um
Which is hype.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing that, and I'm really looking forward to like making content about it and stuff, because that's what I primarily started on. That's what I really wanted to do. But you know, like I said, news few and far between. And then, you know,
Hmm.
MK is my start. That's where I got my start. So it's cool to hear your start. My start was in a Straw Hat Pizza in 1995. I saw
Okay.
um I saw Mortal Kombat 2. That was where I started. Then I borrowed a neighbor's Sega Genesis, and they had a copy of Marvel vs. They had a copy of Mortal Kombat 1, so I played that. So Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 2 is like where I got my start.
Nice,
So
nice.
fighting games started with Mortal Kombat, and Mortal Kombat will always be up there in my favorite. With MK11, I played a ton of Street Fighter because MK11 was, to be honest, not that great of a game. And it had its ups, but it had too many downs, you know, for me
Yeah,
to
I
actually
remember you
enjoy it.
said you give it like a 6 out of 10, basically.
Hmm. Yeah, the story I'd probably give like the gameplay I'd give like a 5 out of 10, but the story
Oh,
yeah, I did not like the gameplay, but the story mode, I'd probably give it like a 6.5, or you
okay.
know, it had really good scenes. That's the thing I liked about it.
It did. It did.
It had good scenes. Now the story, the direction they went with the characters, and I mean, don't mean to bring up because Fourth Snake and all of his Sindel rants, because I agree with all of them.
Oh yeah.
I 100, and we'll talk about Sindel. Don't worry. But all of his Sindel rants, dude, oh my gosh. It's like, I agree with all of them. But
he's made like 13 videos of Sindel by now, I think, in his playlist. It's very funny
Sindel
about
videos.
Yeah, it's very funny how much the damage of like evil retcon Sindel is in the aftermath. Like, people hate it so much that I feel like right now this new Sindel is out, and there are just so many people in the comment sections or like on Twitter or whatnot and be like, please be good. Please be good.
Yeah.
I just want her to be good, guys. It's just like the number one thing that people want right now from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, because they like the beautiful badass character. We all like that character, but we want that character to be good. And actually, someone commented it in one of my videos. They said that all the women who play Mortal Kombat, they like the evil Sindel, but all the men want the good Sindel. And I was like,
interesting.
And
okay.
I thought that comment struck hard for me, because I was like, it just made me think. It just made me think about that. And after thinking about it, I don't have a logical, my logic and philosophy upon it. I don't have an answer for that. My logic states that most men, their first female leader in their life was their mom, and most moms are caring and nurturing. So they want Sindel to be a caring, nurturing, protective mom. And that's why I think we love that character so much. You know, I'm getting really philosophical on y'all, but that's why
interesting.
That was kind of my logic behind it. And I can see that, because my mom was very caring and nurturing and protective, and I imagine that most
my mom too.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the reason why we liked Sindel, particularly 3D era Sindel. You know, when she came in to be like, oh shoot, you know, like, I'm not under the spell anymore. You know, so they like that. But when she became, oh, I was always evil, I was just, everybody was just like, no, mom, you know. My mom has been evil this entire time. Yeah, go ahead.
My way of looking at it is just like, my head is trying to wrap around. So like, okay, so Quan Chi like revives her and puts her on a mind control spell, and then so she's mind controlled throughout MK11 and MKX, and then she gets brought back, and she's good again, but it turns out she was actually always evil. Why the heck do you need to like mind control her? That like what was the point? What was the point of that in MK9? it's like I'm trying to wrap around like, what's the plan here? Like, what?
Yeah. And I think they wanted to do that because they didn't want a character to have to be kind of submitted under a man. That's, I think, was probably like the prime, I would imagine would be the primary reason, because she had to be mind controlled so that she can submit to Shao Kahn. And if she was always evil, she did it out of her own will rather than have to be, what is it called? Enchanted to do so.
Huh.
You know,
didn't think of it that way.
That was kind of I think that may have been the philosophy behind it, you know. But by the way, we're in like significantly far reaches, you know, of the planets. So Sonic is in Taiwan. I am in California. I say this because there has been not too many connection issues, but if Sonic glitches out, I apologize about that. So,
okay,
you started to pixelate just a little bit. So,
okay.
I just, so audience, just you know, to prepare you, Sonic might glitch out.
Make sure you notify me when I'm going on my reptile rant if I ever get like glitchy, because that's the part I'm most important about.
Okay, cool. But so before we go into the reptile thing, what is your like overall feel of the game from all the overall, not just any specific trailer? Like, how do you feel? Do you feel optimistic, pessimistic? How do you feel about going into Mortal Kombat 1?
Okay. From a general thought prospect, I am optimistic. Like, I am excited to see what they do, especially since the premise of this is we're rebooting the series, but we're not just doing an MK9. We're doing like changes. It's going to be completely like characters are going to be different in that aspect, and that's exciting. That gets me curious as to like, okay, what's going to happen in the story, and how are characters going to be different. So far, I would say my general feeling is like, because going into I'm optimistic, but like my general feeling is like, there's the saying of like something is a mixed bag. I feel that way with this current MK, but the good is very good, and the bad is really like I'm not a big fan of that kind of bad. Like I think it's kind of like back and forth.
What's a really good and what's a really bad? As like 2 examples.
See, the obvious answer would just be like Reptile, but I don't want to go that. Let's see. What's a good that I would say I'm a big fan of and a bad? Okay. Bringing back so many 3D era characters. Like, yeah, that's awesome. And like we'll see how they turn out. I'm a big fan of them. I would love to see just more about them and how they interact with. I saw this one comment that I thought was pretty funny, and it's like the roster is looking pretty great currently because there's no original characters.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, it's not necessarily the original characters are bad. It's more just we really want to see those 3D era characters come back.
Right.
And you get to see like how they're handled and whatnot. A bad is it fine if we talk about spoilers for like the story mode? Because that
absolutely.
Okay, yeah, Chronica's back. I'm just like, we did this already. Come on.
Yeah.
And not only did we do this, it's like I thought before, I was thinking like, okay, if Chronica ever comes back in the series, I'd want her to be like mortal. I want her to be like maybe she doesn't have any like recollections of what happened in the past, and maybe she's like a noble woman, or maybe she's like her own like agenda. I always thought maybe she could play as a character who's from Order Realm or something like that. Feels like maybe that would fit her. But no, she's back and she's doing the exact same thing she did in MK11. Oh, Shang Tsung. It's like, yeah, you were supposed to be greater, join me and stuff like that. It's like, but we just did this. The point of the reboot is that we could leave this stuff behind. It's been 5 minutes, so I'm going to start swearing eventually. But but yeah, but it's a couple of these sort of things that are like back and forth, and I don't really want to give my final thoughts until like the full game is out. But yeah, I'm very excited to see how it goes, and that's without talking about the gameplay. Yeah. I think this game, the thing that's going to be very unique and interesting about it are the cameo fighters. Like that mechanic is exciting. I'm excited to see like how that's going to change up this game, because it's not only just like a normal assist situation. It's like, well, I mean, you can, I guess in other games you can also hit them, but I also feel like there's a lot of like, how do I say this in a better way? Something about like the physics of it seemed very interesting, where maybe when you summon like a cameo fighter in other games or assist fighters, it'll be like, oh, it's like they show they do a thing and that's it, or like it's like a semi-cutscene. But in this, it's like it's interactable. It's like while you're grabbing someone, if somebody pulls the cameo fighter, it's like, oh, here comes the cutscene grab, and like, oh, you're out of it and stuff. It's like, oh, the physics in this game are very interesting. It's very hectic from what I've heard from some people saying. It's like, oh, so much happens on the screen, but that gets me excited to see like how the gameplay will turn out in terms of like creativity. So
it's not near as bad as Marvel versus Capcom. Those games are just same thing with Dragon Ball Fighters. It's like it's not near as bad as Dragon Ball Fighters, to where it's that. But I do like, I would call it
different. It's different.
I would call it organized chaos, because it's like
okay.
That's because somebody is always on the screen. A cameo is always on the screen. And I really like that. I also like the idea that they brought in these cameos. Okay, assist characters, that's great. But it turns out they're insanely important. Turns out it's like they completely change your entire play style, your defense, your offense, your everything. They change everything. In fact, Roofomonger said you choose your counter pick based off your cameo. So that
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
because like,
go ahead.
Motaro literally is a zoner counter. It's exactly. Like, oh, you want to play Rain, huh? Motaro cameo and whatnot. Yeah.
Same thing with Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero is also, with his eye shield, everything. He makes you immune to projectiles.
Yeah, that's right.
So you do you do stuff like that. So I'm really happy with the mechanics of it. During the beta, I was a little bit disappointed that there wasn't more cameo characters. Now, 6-point characters was great. I think that's great. And the 6-point characters that you had to choose from were also great. However, it was pretty much like a Frost Fest, because everybody wanted to play Frost.
That's the new one.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a few people who did some great things, like Dab with Jax, and a couple of people, had Sonya, which was cool. I didn't really see a whole lot of Kano? But Kano was like one of the best ones, dude. He was really, really good. I just hope that, when the game comes out, I'm really looking forward to all the different creative combos and stuff. I can imagine just like Dragon Ball Fighters, there's probably going to be people making montage videos of them just in training mode doing Touch of Death, 75%, 90% combos that you'll never be able to pull off in ranked online, but you will be able to
for sure.
Because that's like
I remember hearing
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah. I remember hearing like Maximilian Dude being like, at the first it's like, I'm not too sure how I feel about this game in terms of the mechanic, but it's like the more cameos that are introduced, the more it feels like, the possibilities in the range of like what can happen is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to like the first 2 months of the game because nobody knows what to do, and we just got to keep labbing and coming up with like all sorts of cameo like creativities and stuff.
I imagine the first month, me and a bunch of other people in the Nethercast gameplay channel, because we talk about pretty much like everything except Mortal Kombat, just because MK11 wasn't that great. But we talk about Street Fighter 6 and all that stuff. But I can imagine just the first month we're just going to be talking about nonstop, like different combinations of point and cameo characters and different kind of combos that we come up with. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to have so much fun. I am going to have so much fun in the lab. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, which is a great segue, by the way, into Sindel. Because
the lab?
No, not the lab.
Was this new Sindel Lord, Alchemist Sindel? Like,
because when I saw Sindel and Serena mixed, and also when I saw Smoke and Sector, paired up together, it immediately I was just like, dude, I want to take Sindel and Serena into the lab and try a whole bunch of things, So I can imagine like those characters like fitting really well together. But
especially in the combat cast after they revealed like, weirdly enough, they didn't show us in the trailer, but when they showed us in the combat cast, that was like the highlight. People were like, she can do what with cameos?
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
So yeah, going on, speaking, of Sindel, because we talked about Sindel earlier a little bit, how they just completely botched that character in MK11, and let's call it what it's a retcon. I'm going to call it what it is. I don't care what
it is. It definitely is.
It definitely is. But going into MK1, how do you feel about Sindel?
Well, okay, because I feel like I was a bit more positive with her initially.
And I know this is probably going to sound like a repeat because the combat cast just came out and you guys did a whole segment on that. So I apologize about that. But I do want to hear kind of like your standalone thoughts on Sindel, the design, and the story direction that they're going.
Well, actually, because I was just more like, okay, Sindel, great. But I will admit, like, as I thought about it more, especially after I chatted this on the combat. Wait, did you just say combat cast?
Oh, Combat Kings. I apologize.
Yeah. I'm not working for NRS here. Sorry about that.
You're like, I was on the Combat Cast?
I'm like, whoa, really?
Yeah. Combat
the characters?
Kings. I apologize. Yeah, Combat Kings.
But I have to agree after like thinking about it a bit more. I'm not a biggest fan of her costume as of right now, at least. It's giving me I'm not really too sure how to feel about it kind of vibes, because it's like I think like it looks a tad bit kind of like the suit Katana had in MK11 in that sense, but a bit like extra stuff with it, and it's that extra stuff with it that I'm not really too sure how I feel about. When I look at a character design and when I look at what they're wearing and that kind of stuff, it tells me a bit of a story. It tells me a bit like, okay, what kind of character you are and stuff like that. Like, Raiden and Kung Lao, simple, like come from like a village farming background. Yeah, I can see that. Katana royalty and all that kind of stuff. I look at Sindel's costume, I'm like, okay, so you have armor pieces for some reason. You have
random
like
calf, like metal pieces over her calves. Like, yeah, just super, yeah.
you have belts. I just see like the metal like this is to like reference her old classic costume and stuff like that. Also, when I went back and looked at the trailer, I really was thought like, oh, they're going with a more reveal design for Sindel with how she's showing a bit of like her leg skin and stuff like that. That's very interesting. Oh no, that's just beige. That's just the color beige on her like pants. I literally
Yeah.
thought like Chunderlux is like a thong, like she's wearing it in that aspect. It's like, okay, but why? It's like, what's up with that?
Of all the colors,
it's like, yeah. Overall, I'm looking at this. I'm like, are you trying to be royalty? Are you trying to be sexy? Are you trying to be casual? No way, you're casual. Or are you trying to be like an assassin? Are you trying to get ready to get into battle? Why are you wearing this in the tournament scene where you're on the throne just looking at like the battle? It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's giving me so many mixed messages that it just kind of doesn't do any of them really good, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I heard you guys talking about that in the Combat Cast and Combat Kings.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No problem.
Combat Kings, not the Combat Cast. Okay, Combat Kings. I heard you guys talking about that, and I actually 100% agree. At first, when I first saw Sindel, I was like, okay, beautiful Asian woman. Mm-hmm. They got that part down. The hair totally makes sense, with the gray hair with the black, stuff, or other way around. But yeah, it's gray with the black. Yeah, and
it's the same. Yeah,
black, yeah, it's the same, and totally get that. And they have the pink eyeshadow and stuff. That's fine. And I get it. They don't want to go with the whole gothic Sindel look, and that's completely fine too. But okay, look at other royalty characters in media. Even in real life, if you looked at Queen Elizabeth, she looks like a queen. If you looked at, but if you looked at like in media, if you looked at Princess Amidala, that looks like a queen, right? It's
I guess, yeah.
It's like when you look at royalty characters, they are done up extremely like overly done. And it's supposed to be like that. So when I saw like the hair during her fatal blow and her fatality, I was like, dude, that's freaking badass, dude. That's so sick. But then you only see it during the fatal blow, and you only see it during, and I was like, dude, there was your chance to really like shine her up. I wish you could do the hair up like more in other areas and everything.
I have a theory about that. I bet they're doing that specifically because in the story mode, it's like when she gets very angry is when she'll pop out kind of a thing. Yes. That maybe they're saving that up more for stuff like that.
Yeah.
And people are already saying like, can we get a version of Sindel just like this? And who knows? Maybe alt skins they'll be able to do this. I don't want to just be negative to the Sindel design because I love that hair aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I actually do think it's great and I think it's very interesting that she's Asian in this game. Because
she actually looks like her daughters actually look like her.
Exactly, because there's been so many I've heard people being like, wait, that's her mom? That's their like that's a child? It's like especially MKWC Katana and Sindel, and it's like
especially in MK11
or something.
In MK11 it shows like Jared as like white, it shows Sindel as white, and then Katana is like Filipino looking, so you're just like, wait a second, adopted? Yeah. I like how you guys are like adopted, so
yeah, that's a good aspect too, making them more look alike and stuff.
Yeah, dude, that would be so sick if she's all of a sudden like, dude, oh my god,
what did you say, Shao? Talk back to me.
Oh dude, in the facial animations when in the trailer when Shao was there, when General Shao, she was just like, don't forget that, and I was like, ooh, goosebumps, dude. That was a badass moment, dude.
And also I'll be honest, it's like as much as I nag on her design, it's like in the grand scheme of things, it's not gonna matter. All it's gonna matter is like what she does in the story mode, and that's gonna depend on if fans are gonna like this version more or the previous. Because people are saying, well, she seems like a good guy, but she also does seem like she's hiding the evilness in her and that kind of a thing. You see like she's more like maybe malicious behind the scenes, and like I said, I was like, I don't necessarily think she's evil. I just think she's actually
No.
much more of a cruel person behind the scenes. It's like because obviously the whole "Hi, Liu Kang, welcome," big old smile is definitely up. Just she's playing a character. I definitely see her faking that for sure. I think she's more of a like malicious person behind the scenes, but not necessarily. I don't think she's going to be like a bad guy, in my opinion.
I kind of, in my opinion, I kind of hope not. I'm really rooting for this character. Same thing with Melina. I'm kind of rooting. Oh, you kind of glitched out there.
Oh, okay. I'm not talking to this
Oh, there we go. Okay, you're back.
All right, here we go. Hi.
Yeah. So I'm same thing with Melina. It's like even though Melina is supposed to be kind of, I guess like more aggressive. In her bio, it says that she's a lot more aggressive and people would rather have Katana as the heiress than Melina. I'm still sort of rooting for Melina to be a protagonist character. Same thing with Sindel. I really want Sindel to be on the good side. And in most stories, in most other story, I always revert back to like Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is my favorite piece of fiction of all time. There are, for every like, I would say, I mean, I don't know the exact number, but for every bad guy, there's 10 good guys.
Oh.
In Mortal Kombat, it's been like half the cast good and half the cast is bad. Same thing with Injustice. It's like half the cast is good, half the cast is bad.
For the most part, yeah.
This time around, it's like, and I get that in a fighting game, you kind of want half the cast to be good and half the cast to be bad, because it'd be weird if like all the good guys are freaking doing fatalities on one another. It'd be kind of weird, and I get that, but I'm kind of rooting for them to be good. I can see that because when Sindel goes, "We are grateful for his service," it almost looked like somebody was like pointing a gun at her head while she's saying that.
Yeah. The facial expression was, I love that, just that smile.
Yeah. But something I did want to bring up though, because with Sindel's design, when they did the big poofy hair, check, great. When they did the Asian, look, check, great. And then they did the gameplay mechanics, check, great. She looks great. Everything about her looks great. But the costume, yeah, I agree. Something Temp said, and I fully agree with this, and it makes complete sense, is that in stories, fantasy stories like this, the moment you take a character and make them look like everyone else, you take the fantasy element out of it. It's like, if I see Queen Sindel, I want to see fantasy Queen Sindel done up with crazy costumes, and they don't have, I'm not shooting for realism. And when I play Mortal Kombat, you don't make it realistic. I don't want that. I don't want, I always say this, I don't want to play my coffee barista in a video game. It's like, but Katana and Melina look great. That's the thing, is their costumes are a little random, but
it is. Yeah.
Like random calf armor piece, random leg piece, and stuff. But when I look at Katana, that looks like a princess. When I look at Melina, that looks like a princess. But when I look at Sindel, that doesn't look like a queen.
I agree. Yeah. So, what was I saying? Every time, like, that's actually how I feel with like sort of the entire roster. It's like either it's good, I mean design wise, not like everything else. I'm talking about just their costume. It's either good or it's, I have a bit of an issue with it, but it's all right kind of a feeling. That's how I feel in general with all of them. What was I on about? But like every time, whenever we have a bit of an issue with a costume, we'd be like, hey, there's always ults, right? Maybe they could fix that with the ults and stuff like that.
That's very true.
So I hope like she'll have more like queenish like looks and designs. Maybe like, obviously she's, at least I would imagine she's gonna get like a classic MK3 design, like costume and whatnot.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So I would hope that she gets like one of my favorite costumes is actually like 3D era, like
okay.
Yeah, they pointed out like the dots on her forehead and stuff. Like I thought that was actually a really unique characteristic about her, just like Sindel Krillin. But I mean,
Sindel Krillin. Yes.
Just random dots on her head, but okay. But let's go on to something that we do like. Reptile, you wanted to go on a... Yes,
let's freaking go. I'm wearing my Reptile t-shirt today. Getting ready to talk about this part.
Getting ready to talk about Reptile. Okay, perfect. So Reptile.
Heck yeah.
Thoughts on Reptile? What are your thoughts on Reptile?
Okay.
Besides that, before he's super
hot. Before he even got like revealed, I was thinking, okay, up to this point, like I just told you, I either think the designs were goodish or it was just it's fine, but there's some issues that I wish they could do better with. And I'm just thinking like, oh, how are they gonna like mess up Reptile? Like what could they do to like make him not the best looking and all that kind of stuff? And then when the trailer came out, I think the worst scenario for me would be like if he has absolutely no like lizard features whatsoever, and if he was like just a pure human and like he threw acids, he could use magic to use the force ball, but he's still called Reptile, and like that would suck in my opinion. And then so when it came out, it was like I feel like it was very obvious that they were going to go with a human Reptile based off of just like how much fans wanted and like have been talking about. To me, when I hear a human Reptile, I always think like MK123. MK123 basically is like that's human Reptile. It's like it's human disguise lizard man like Reptile basically. Which I love that Reptile basically.
Or
like,
he's like a human that's slowly morphing back into his original. Yeah.
One of my favorite versions of Reptile basically right here.
Yeah. But he's like a human that's slowly morphing back into his
lizard form.
True form, right? Yeah,
because MK4 and to Deadly Alliance, he turns more and more lizardy.
Right.
So I literally thought we were going to get this in the newest iteration. That's what I literally thought. Then it came out, and it's like it's a completely different look on the Reptile. It is a shapeshifter Reptile basically, instead of like takes off the mask and it turns into a reptilian man hiding under kind of a situation. Which, well, first off, I think honestly, out of all the designs, like Reptile's like ninja human design is like the best outfit in like the entire game as of right now, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, I love this so much. It's a simple take on the classic Reptile design, but adding a new flair to it. They've been doing that with all the ninja designs, but this one's like, I look at this, it's simple, but I also think there's a lot of details on it that just make sense. It's like, kind
of glitched out. It's okay, give it a second.
Making sure. I feel like I sort of glitched out there. But yeah, like I look at it and it's like, okay, he's got the metal plates on him, like are obviously just for like a bit of armor, but like they're also like scales. It's like you see, it's like he's got scales on there and that kind of stuff. The green robe wrapped around him, forming. Honestly, I even mistake it for a tail once in a while when I see like the back part of the robe, but it's his robe, and just like lots of great like design details that I look at this character, wrapped around like a snake, just like his tattoo and whatnot, and he looks cool. He just looks like very cool in that like design, and not to mention it's like for some reason like he is the most handsome out of all the male casts, in my opinion. It's a competition between like him, maybe like young Raiden and like everyone's favorite cinnamon bun like Smoke nowadays. So like I think these are like
he's back. There he is. Okay.
Wait, was I gone just then? Hello?
You were gone. Your audio was there, but your picture was completely glitched out. But now you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, it almost looked like those. It almost looked like those 1990s like television warning signs. But
yeah.
Go. So yeah, he besides
very happy with how he looks in his human form, basically. And then when he turns into his lizard form, because this is basically a kind of like a druid kind of situation with Reptile, like a werewolf, a were-lizard situation. He basically turns back and forth. He also has abilities where only part of him turns into like a lizard, so he has like a lizard hand, or he just has his tail and stuff like that, which I think is very cool. Yeah. When he goes like full lizard mode, I would say I wasn't too sure how to feel about that in the beginning. It's like, okay, so he's 2021 lizard form Reptile here, look basically. But when I look at him in the gameplay, when I thought about it a bit more, I did kind of like it, because it's reflecting to what he can do in the game. Like, it's not just like a design choice. It's like, okay, well, he's a big lizard man now, and like, and whenever he uses like any like reptile classic abilities like force ball and acid spit, he does turn into like lizard form and stuff like that. It's like it reflects in the gameplay, and especially he has one of the coolest moves in the game, the death roll. Just bites you and rolls like
that rolls over. Yeah, dude, that was super.
Yeah, and it also reflects in his fatalities too. It's like I really love his fatal blow where he just bites you, and also his fatality where he eats you and spits you out is just like chef's kiss, amazing.
Yeah,
it's sort of like building up. I'm sort of liking it more and more as I think about it, and I really want to wait till the final game is out to really decide how much I like this reptile. I do think for a as a lizard expert, like talking about these designs and like how they look, he's more of like a B tier lizard man in my opinion. In comparison, like it's not the best, but it's not too shabby also either. It's like they took the form of like the 2021 lizard and then just like smash his face in a bit more, and okay, we're good. That's the lizard form we're getting in this game. So in my opinion, I think the best thing they could do for this reptile is in customization. It's like, well, for first off, give us a Zeteran form. Is that how you pronounce it? Zeteran or Zetarian? I feel like I've heard both.
I always say Zetarian, but you can say whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah, Zetarian form. Like skin.
I mean, everybody says Takeda, and then Fourth Snake comes around and says Takeda.
Yeah.
And
Takeda, basically.
And I was like, Takeda actually sounds way more Japanese, and then you actually find out like Takeda is actually the correct way of saying it, and we've all been saying it wrong.
It is a Japanese name, basically. Yeah.
So anyway, I always said Zetarian, but
yeah, like give him like a Zetarian skin, where it's just like he's a green lizard boy, basically. I mean, I wish they could like go more with it, but if it's just gonna be like MK11, like Zetera and Jade or a Scorpion, then all right, I guess. But also give us customization with the lizard form. It's like let us be able to like change the face and whatnot, change the head, because the really great thing about the lizard form, in my opinion, is like a big issue with NRS, which is unavoidable. I get it. Is like a lot of the character models have to be somewhat similar because they're going to be fatality. They're going to be performing like fatal blows and stuff like that. They're going to like get their bits cut off. So to have them all be more like each other is like why we don't get a lot of like different types of body types or like creatures for characters. Like that's why Motaro would never be playable in the game.
Yeah.
Now with this reptile, with the shapeshifter, you can do anything you want to do with the lizard form, basically, because when he gets beat up, he's on his human form. So that's why I wish they'll get more customizations for the lizard form. Let me give him a cowboy hat. I want to give him like a Santa hat or something like that, basically. Let him wear like the Deadly Alliance like reptile costume when he's in this lizard form or something like that.
Yeah, someone would say, I have a friend who thinks the Deadly Alliance is the best costume reptiles ever had, but the worst skin he's ever had. Like, do you see that? You know what I mean?
I somewhat agree. I actually, because I remember I did a video ranking every reptile design, and I look at a Deadly Alliance and I look more closely. I'm like, it's a pretty sick costume. It's like, it's like an inverted, like the classic ninja. Because like, I mentioned, like, in my opinion, like when MKX, you got Reptile wearing his classic MK3 costume. I like it. I love it. But the big issue with that costume is the costume is green, and so is Reptile's like skin. And that kind of like, and it's also like there's something in color that I feel like is when there's two colors that are the same, but like one of them is like slightly different, maybe like lighter, brighter, or a bit darker, and they mishmash together, it doesn't look that good. It's because it's two similar colors, but one is just a slightly different. That's how I feel a bit with like the Reptile in the with that skin in MKX, and a couple Reptile skins too. But like Deadly Alliance skin, it's black with like a little bit of green next to it, and that the black fits with the green skin. And I'm just like, oh, that actually looks really cool. It does. The costume does look really cool. Yeah, the Reptile I agree. Looks goofy though, the face, but it's Deadly Alliance. It's a long time ago.
When he's in crab stance, it just makes it look even worse because he's like,
why is this top tier move here? I kind of joked around, and I'm like, I could go on about. I didn't even talk about him in the story mode. Oh my gosh! But I think I should leave it back to you because I could go on for like a long time.
Oh no! I think the story. I think the design is actually absolutely perfect. Like I really like the design. I really like the way they made him look, and the ninja side of him looks near perfect. And I'm glad that his specials, he brings out the lizard form. So I thought that was really cool. And you make a really good point too. I didn't even think about it, is that if you notice that the both the men and the women are the same height. If you look at,
I think
during the beta, I noticed
maybe
that.
only like General Shao and Geras are probably the bigger people.
Right.
That's about it, right?
But everybody else is pretty much the same height. So I would imagine him making it a lot easier to do, like, fatalities and fatal blows on them and stuff. And just ultimately character design. It's like, I'm pretty sure that having, the different character models be very similar, it would probably be easier to do it. And if you look at like Mortal Kombat 9, it literally, all the men are exactly the same and all the women are exactly the same. They just changed up like face, skin tones, and outfits. That's all they had to do. But ultimately, Reptile, I think, looks great. His mechanics, his gameplay look top tier, dude. He looks so good. His story.
Looking forward to the combat cast. Reptile combat cast.
Oh, finally! Yeah, I know. They've been sleeping on Reptile for a while, and they're probably going to wait for the end. I'd imagine they wait for the end. His story, however, almost really good. The thing the only gripe almost really good. His story kind of reminded me of Bridget from Guilty Gear.
Okay.
So, I won't go into.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to go too much into the story, but I mean, Bridget is from a village where there's a superstition that if you have twins, that's going to bring bad luck on the village. So Bridget was born a boy. They said it was a girl and was raised as a girl, and Bridget ended up leaving the town and became a bounty hunter, which is very strange because she's so like happy-go-lucky and stuff like that. But it's just like,
that's Guilty Gear lore.
I know, that's like like the most like nicest bounty hunter that you'd ever. I mean, imagine being captured by Bridget. But anyway, Reptile kind of reminded me of the same thing. He has this, I guess, deformity is what they want to call it.
Yeah, so there's a deformity or something.
He can change it to human form, and he was basically like tortured and then banished out. And that also
bullied mercilessly.
Bullied mercilessly, exactly.
Yeah.
And he was ran out. That's what he says in the trailer. He was ran out.
Yeah.
And it
mutation, basically. Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that there's a Twilight Zone episode called Beauty is in the Eye of the Beholder, where a girl gets into a car accident. Her face, got burned or something. And then the doctor tried to make her, fix her face and everything. And then when she takes off the wrapping, she's this beautiful woman. But then the lights turn on and everyone has like pig snouts. And they're all screaming. They're all screaming and just like, "Oh my gosh, she's hideous!" And because everybody else has that. So I imagine Reptile's like the similar thing, to where it's like,
yeah,
you just made Reptile the most handsome man imaginable, but for whatever reason, that is looked at as a deformity, and so they cast him out. So it makes sense why they would make him so like good looking. But so it's like, you're way too handsome. Get out, But anyway, then they did the circus thing. I don't know.
What is that? Wait. Yeah. What is that? I'm so confused about that. The circus thing. Where is this?
Apparently, there was more to the bio that they added on, and I think it's in the official Mortal Kombat Discord. And they threw on more to his bio that's not on the website. I
gotta check this out because I've never heard about this circus thing. That like I sort of watched your episode with Temp, and I was like, pretty sure that's not true, because till this day no one's talking about this circus thing. Like I am the if there's any Reptile news, I get DM'd like 50 times. When Reptile was revealed that day, I just checked my Twitter and my Discord, and I got about like 50 DMs of people being like, "Have you seen the trailer yet? What's your reaction? Where's your reaction?" All that kind of stuff. There's like so many people. I've never heard about this circus thing. You got to send it to me if it's true.
Okay, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's in the.
Because I'm trying to look for the lore. It's like I'm seeing this one on Reddit that says like the shady figure kidnapped Reptile's family, threatening to kill them if Reptile didn't cooperate. Is that
Yes.
like this circus thing is so weird? It's like,
Yeah,
where did this come from?
I believe it's from the Discord. But yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah, so that's the point I was trying to make, was that it's like you had a really good thing. It's like he's banished for being able to change into human, and then he runs off and joins the circus. It's like that to me was just kind of like weird.
Well, does he run off to join the circus, or was he forced to?
That's a good point. I don't know.
Because I made this like, I didn't know about the circus thing. I'm really being like, oh, kind of a situation. Give us Reptile clown costume and it'll be all forgiven. Just give us that. Give us a funny like a clown nose on a lizard form or something like that.
And every single time that he does the acid thing and you get hit by it, it's like a balloon popping with the celebration and stuff. And
But like, so in the when the bio came out for Reptile, when his model came out, I made like a bit of a observation. For one, he has keys on the side of his
he does
waist.
On his belt. Yeah,
so it's like a jailer kind of situation. And the other thing was like every character has a bit of like a title for them. So it's like you look at Raiden, he's called Raiden, Champion Earthrealm. Kung Lao, youthful warrior with dreams of glory. And there's a couple of them that are pretty funny. But for Reptile, it says Zetarian Slave. Which
that's very strange.
It's like, what? I don't remember any of this in the trailer kind of situation. And my prediction was like, I just read this, and it says like some mysterious figure approached him. So like maybe like he's bound or he's working for Shang Tsung forcefully or something. That's what I thought at first. What if this is
because of the circus?
I beg not to too, but even I'm a bit worried about that situation. If you think about it, if Shang is working with Kronika and if Reptile's working with Shang, then there's the connection there.
Yeah.
But now, what if it's the circus thing that like you just mentioned? What if he's a slave to the circus? Maybe they have to help him get out of the circus or something. But I don't know. I hope. Man, this is so weird. Because like this is the first time I'm hearing about this circus thing, and I'm not even too sure if it's like. Like if it's we'll see. Maybe that's the festival part of the story mode.
Make it make sense. That's what like I'm open. The circus thing sounds a little bit too cliche, and I'm completely fine with cliche. Like, oh, I was ran out of my hometown because I was considered a freak, so I went and joined the circus. Like that's just that sounds a little bit like too obvious.
I'm more interested in the fact that what does it imply that Outworld has a circus? I
don't know. I saw a bunch of show cons drinking beer and playing drums. So I mean,
yeah.
Also there's the festival anything's stage. Possible. But
there's the whole entire festival with Katana and like Melina and stuff like that. Yeah. But a circus. I don't know how to feel about this. The first time I'm hearing this.
Oh gosh, dude. I'm sorry. Did I just ruin this for you? I apologize. But
no, that's fine. It's fun because when you guys did talk about the circus on your podcast with Tim, and I was thinking, it's probably fake because this video is old. I'm sure it's fake news. It's whatever. But now it's like, people are talking about this, and it's we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Very much real.
Like I said, we'll see.
Yeah. So I mean, make it make sense. Like I said, I'm optimistic. I'm a lot more optimistic than most longtime Mortal Kombat fans, and so I mean, sure, make it make sense. That would be great. And
I'll say one thing about the story mode of Reptile is the fact that I've kind of given up on ever seeing a good guy Reptile, or like I kind of just feel like, okay, I like Reptile, but he's just going to be a jobber for Menaris. It seems like I don't think they have any interest in developing this character. So it's kind of like insane to see like he's going to be playable in the story mode. It seems like from the looks of it, like you're actually going to be able to control him. Like he's going to
he's on the good side. I mean, when during the Banish trailer, I thought this was super cool. He was like, we have to prepare you for war. Or we have to take you to the Shaolin Temple and prepare you for war. So he's literally taking Reptile and Ashura
Ashra.
to the Shaolin Temple and train them, and it also makes sense because we saw Kenshi and Raiden there training. Now Raiden makes sense, but the fact that Kenshi was there was very strange when they're wearing their orange garb.
Shaolin monks costumes.
Yeah, so I guess like the Shaolin Temple is like the training ground. So I think that's super cool. I think
the Shaolin Temple is going to be the base of operations. Like, all right, gather around, everybody.
Yeah, like the watering hole, the watering hole,
or the Shirai Ryu Gardens in MK11. It's like, can we stay here, Hanzo? It's like totally Raiden.
Yeah, no, they did that, but yeah, ultimately, Reptile. Everything so far looks great. I'm looking forward to how the story kind of plays out because when they said like a mysterious figure, the like I said, the circus thing was a little weird, but the mysterious figure is like, I'm listening.
Oh gosh, yeah. Now you say it's Chronica. Oh, yeah. It's like
oh gosh, don't let it be Chronica. Don't let it be Chronica. Yeah.
Oh jeez.
There was one more point in that. Is that there's a saying that a hero and the villain have the same backstory. The villain just chooses to blame society versus the hero wants to make sure society never feels the way they felt or experiences what they experienced. And to me, it's like Reptile is very much the hero of his story. Because if he was, you can either be banished from your hometown and run out and be like, F everyone, I want to kill them all. Or you can be like, the hero who's like, I want to make sure that nobody ever feels banished and run out for their deformities ever again. So that's the hero of his story.
He seems to be moving on. It seems like it doesn't seem like he cares about his hometown. Seems like, at least.
Yeah. Or it doesn't even have to be in his hometown. It just be wherever. So, someone I really wanted to talk about was Ashura. And
Ashura.
Yeah, Ashura is.
Did you mean Natara? Did you mean Devora?
We're. Oh my gosh, dude.
We're canceled by the stands now. Sorry about that.
I felt so bad for Caboose because first off, he wasn't even the only one who made that mistake. There were so many other people who made that mistake because he's a prominent figure. I get it that he would be put on the spotlight for that, but dude, it's like there were people who showed pictures of like Devora and Ashura like side by side, and it's like I didn't see it, but I can see how people would at first be like, oh my gosh, it's Devora. I can totally see why that, but it's
just funny too. It's just like, it's a very funny situation. Why did it have to be so toxic? It seemed
it did. Yeah, that was the point. It's just like, dude, chill. I mean, the guy is like one of the biggest Mortal Kombat fans there is. It's like you can't just. You're really gonna, denounce 10 years or 10 plus years of Mortal Kombat content creating, and just
it was pretty mean, like what the person said, basically. Yeah.
Anyway, Ashura. So
Ashura.
A lot of people have mixed feelings. A lot of people have mixed feelings about the Ashura design.
Design.
Okay. So, and the story is almost exactly the same. It's
pretty much.
It's literally the same minus Quan Chi. So.
Well, also minus the what happens afterward with her Chris and like the sword and stuff.
Yeah, and I'll get to that in a minute because I do have a little bit of some negative thoughts towards Ashura's story in the 3D era.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just say that in front because I brought up this character. She's one of my favorite characters. I really want to talk about her. But Ashura,
interesting. So you're one of your favorite characters. Okay.
She is. She's one of my. Here's the reason why. Ashura, Serena, and Natara are three of my favorite characters. Particularly Serena. Serena is probably my favorite Mortal Kombat character of all time.
Okay.
And I really like redemption arcs. I like it when people start from the bottom and have to work their way up to achieve whatever it is, whether you're trying to achieve, repentance and absolution, or you're trying to achieve like the Rudy character from the, if you ever seen the movie Rudy, it's like starting from the bottom, working your way up to the very top.
Redemptions are great. Yeah.
I love redemption stories. So Serena has one of the best redemption stories, and Ashra does, because no one touches on someone who, was born a demon, whether they got to the nether realm because their life was full of sin or because they were born in the nether realm as a demon. They don't really touch on that, but we know that she was a demon, saw a light, and was like, I want to, get out of the hellhole, literal hellhole that I'm in. So she found the Chris sword, found that if I killed enough demons, particularly more powerful ones such as Ermac or Noob Saibot, I can purify my soul enough to where the Netherrealm cannot keep me here and will be thrust out. And that's what happens in Deception. But then we get to Armageddon, and she all of a sudden, the Chris sword is actually not, this purifying weapon. Turns out it's actually the Datusha, it's actually the Datusha blade, and it manipulates and brainwashes its wielders just to kill vampires. And it pits her against Natara. I was like, no. That's
okay. That's interesting.
That I did not like that story at all, because you literally turned Ashra into essentially like a pawn in a villainous way, and I thought that was I didn't like that at all. So
to me, I kind of have a bit of an opposite opinion, because
take note, I really like the Deception Ashra arc. I do not like the Armageddon Ashra arc. Okay. Because you completely dismiss the whole redemption arc of her,
Sure. Yeah. To me, there was a bit of I'm more of a person who of course I like redemption arcs too, but I'm also quite a fan of well-written characters who were good guys who turned evil. I do like that situations.
The Fall from Grace character. Yeah.
Yeah, like Syndrome from Incredibles. Mm-hmm. When he was Incredible, he seemed very naive. He seemed very good, and after he grew up, he basically, he basically came up with a whole entire evil plan because of no one took him serious back in the day and all that kind of stuff. Ashra's lore is first off, the thing that I do kind of like about the fact that where she herself believes she is doing good, and perhaps killing demons in some senses is a good thing. Mm-hmm. But even if you look at Deception, it's Ermac was not a bad guy, but she wanted to kill Ermac in that sense. I mean, from what I recall, she doesn't win that fight, but
no, she doesn't. And a lot of people have theorized that the reason she wanted to kill Ermac was because the sword was telling her to.
Perhaps if they thought of it like the sword,
because he technically wasn't a demon,
Yeah.
So,
but to me, it's even I look at Ashra's character, and I feel and the lore, I feel like she's a character who believes she's right, who believes she's noble, and she even has the her design reflects I'm the pure of light kind of a character. Mm-hmm. But it's because of the sword, because of that aspect of her, it actually makes her a bit of more of a villain in that aspect, more of a ruthless killer. It's if I kill more demons, I will become purified. I remember the Force Snake did mention in Deception. It's
if I kill more demons, ending, I will become purified. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But it's her ending is basically her being purified, and Deception Arcade ending, basically. That's her ending, basically. But it's because they wanted to continue her. Well, Armageddon is a game where it's everyone's back kind of situation, so they just kind of continued that story. Maybe maybe then they added that aspect about it. But yeah, I always kind of see Natara and Ashra being okay, from the outside you look at these two characters, it's okay, Ashra's definitely the good guy, Tara definitely the bad guy, because look at their designs, obviously it's good versus evil. But then you look at their lore, it's it's kind of the opposite. It's Ashra is kind of being manipulated by the sword to just kill what it wants it to, whereas Natara is just helping her people and wanting to get back to veteranness and that kind of stuff. That I like these sort of not what it seems kind of plots going into with these characters, and I feel they're gonna lean into that for her in this game too. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. But yeah, I like a character who doesn't seem just too simple. oh, she looks like a good guy, she's doing good guy stuff, so she should be a good guy kind of angle and that kind of stuff.
I agree with you on that one, on that aspect. Like, just because, looks and acts, looks and seems like a good guy doesn't mean that person is actually a good guy. So I totally understand that. I don't really have a rebuttal against that, to be honest, because you make a very...
It's just my opinion. Yeah.
No. You make a very valid point. That's a very valid point.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the biggest reasons why I'd love to just see them come back in the NRS, like both Ashura and Natara, because it's like they've had not a lot, but kind of a very small story in like the games that they've been in.
Yeah,
and I'd love to see
they literally
them, like,
have nothing to do with Mortal Kombat. They, it's like they're in Mortal Kombat, but they have nothing to do with the actual like overarching story. It's like their own separate side story, and that's kind of what made Deception such a beloved, game. The Conquest mode was so beloved because of these. I mean, think about it. Havoc have to do with it?
Havoc is there to teach Shujinko the ways of chaos.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Same. It's kind of like a Dairu and Darius. Oh, kind of lost you there for a second, but
oh, okay.
That's it. Oh, hey, there he is. Like I said, guys, I'm so sorry, audience. Like I said, we're in different parts. We're literally on the other side of the planet. So,
if the audio is still good, then it's all right.
Yeah, the audio is good, and that's all that matters. So, but yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you on that one. I just, with Ashura's current design.
Okay, let's get into the current design.
The current design, I like it. I really like it, actually.
Okay.
And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. Comment down below. I want to hear all the hate, but I want to hear why everybody
there are Ashura stands already going crazy nowadays. I think there's a lot more Ashura like people that like it too.
And
I like it. I like it too, actually.
Yeah, it's a really unique design. It still plays off of the old white attire that she had. And I have a theory. She's missing her hat. She's missing her hat, and her hat is very...
that's the last thing that I think everybody just wants. We just want the hat.
We want the hat.
It has to be a customization option. Or go with your theory. I want to hear this.
I think, well, first off, before I even get to the hat part, was that I think one of the biggest reasons I like her design was because, one, her costume looks really cool. I really like also her look. A lot of people have actually said something about like the eyebrows, but that's neither here nor there. I actually think her design looks really cool. Because
I like at first I wasn't too sure how I felt about her face looking like that, but then I'm like, well, she's a demon. So like she's a demon who's trying to purify herself to look more human. And that's why like her design reflects that in the sense where it's like, oh, she's this like beautiful white cloth like woman, but it's like, something's not really right about her. And that's kind of like the way how I look at it too. Force Snake made a really great observation, and he was like, in Deception, she was basically almost done with her redemption story. Like that was like what they were going for. After she kills Doomsday in the arcade ending, she's purified, and probably that's why she looked a lot more human in that game. Is because she's very close to finishing her purification, and this might be a bit before that, which is like, this is a nice theory. But yeah, I'm down with her design too. I like it.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that one. Is like I like the fact that they still have remnants of her demonic form. Like she's not quite there yet, So the Ashura from the Deception story, she just looked like a human. It's like there was nothing there, and even with the more with the alternative costume that was more revealing, it was just pure human. But with this, it's like they actually show remnants of the way she used to look, and even in the eyes too. I thought that was a really nice touch. Is she had blacked eyes. But my theory is that I truly think and really hope so there's a little bit of a bias in this, is that I really want Ashura to be a good guy. I want her to be a protagonist, but when she finally achieves her full redemption, she achieves absolution, then she will have the hat and all the scars and bestowed upon her, and she will actually look like a full human. So the hat is kind of like you've achieved absolution, and the hat is like the finishing,
the finishing touch.
The finishing touch upon that, and all the scars will be gone. She'll have that natural hairline. Her eyes will be white.
Yeah, I could see that.
So I theorized that was going to happen. If it doesn't, I'm still not going to be disappointed because just the fact that Ashra's in the game, just the fact that Ashra's there. Same thing with like the fact that Serena's, they're like, I had some people ask, what do you think about Serena being a cameo? I'm like, I'm freaking stoked that Serena's just there. It's like, and she is arguably one of the best cameos so far. So I'm
gonna think about that. If that's in design wise, probably she looks great. She looks really cool.
The only thing, I'm not a fan of her demon form. I wish it was just Serena.
Okay.
That's all I wish. It was just Serena.
I want more. Yeah, I do wish that her moves reflect more like just how she looks without the demon form. But a lot of her moves, like 2 of them, I think, and then her grab and her fatal blow are all her demon forms.
Yeah, exactly. She has a pop. It's kind of just a strike. It's not really a pop-up. But she has a projectile, a boomerang. She has a boomerang. She has a boomerang, a projectile. At first I thought it was a pop-up, but it's just a low, and her AoE, which is actually not it's an AoE. Yeah, when she's like, doing that thing,
and it's something this Jataka's mark or something. I think that's what they call that move.
Yeah, and it drains your meter. So if you get someone stuck in a corner, they pretty much can't break away, or not break away, combo break. So there's that. But yeah, she looks really, really good. But yeah, that's my thing on Ashra. And then they did the combat cast, and turns out Ashra, I think a lot of people, because Sindel came out. Excuse me. When Sindel came out, everyone was like, oh, Sindel looks OP. She can do all these different things. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Ashra, because Ashra to me looks super OP. Dude, her kit looks so good. Like unbelievable.
She has the that one ability where I thought it was a combo of hers, but it's her ability where she does slashes, right? Basically,
that's a good combo ender. It looks like, but yeah. So she has she has the hack and slash, essentially is what they call her, or slice and dice, whatever. By the way,
but the dark form. Wait, what?
I am super stoked that the animation made her like a very wuxia sword dancing kind of character. It's very Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like kind of style, so the fact that they had that Chinese sword dancing kind of feel to her, dude, I was so stoked on that.
Her grab is really cool.
Yeah, but she's a stance character. So she starts in light, she can go to dark, and then if you put the dark on the opponent, you go back to light, and it's kind of like stacks. So you played League of Legends, so you get it. It's like, basically, it's kind of like stacks. You put, for instance, like Darius's ult. You put the blood stacks on someone, and if you put the 5 blood stacks and then ult them, it pretty much nukes them. Well, it's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, you want to like switch back and forth, is because of stack them up and then like deal more damage, stack them up, deal more damage.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if they said this or even mentioned it, but I think because I saw a fan art of this before, but I think Ashra has like a third eye on her head.
Oh, that I remember she has a thing right here, but I don't know if it's a third eye.
A line. Okay. Yeah, I've seen like people say that it looks like it could open up. Maybe I'm thinking maybe when she taps into her dark side, it opens up. Maybe potentially, but we have to get a better shot if we want to see whether or not if it does open up or not. I think that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. I do think Ashra has the same situation with like Sindel, where it's like when Sindel uses her fatal, her hair turns big. When Ashra uses it, she's got the wings.
Exactly. Wings, and basically. The other thing this is a little bit, when I first saw the wings, I was like, yes, that looks so dope. But also I'm like, dude, why doesn't she have the wings every time she uses a special? That would be dope. Every time that she uses, her projectile, the wings would pop up. And if she's on the dark side, it would be like a demon. It would be like a demon wing or something like that. Like, dude, oh man, that would have been so cool, but didn't happen. So it's not like they're going to go change it now, but, no, also the biggest thing that I think is her ghost. So she...
Oh, that's right. She has that Phantom Ghost.
Yeah, a lot of people
are... the outplay potential of that looks very fun, honestly.
Exactly. And actually, believe it, I tweeted out to 16-bit. And yes, Stephanie actually responded saying, yes, you can teleport through projectiles.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you can anti-zone. So you not only can you zone, you can anti-zone. So dude, she has a ghost that's very similar to like Decapre from Street Fighter 4, so she sends out the ghost and then you can actually use it to teleport, to that place. And then, so yeah, she has zoning, she has all the, she has the mix up options, and she has the stacks, and then take the stacks away for like a nuke. And on top of that, you have the ghost, and the ghost I think is probably going to be like one of her biggest things, especially with how many different zoners there are in this game.
True. When I was watching the combat cast for like Rain, I was like, goodness gracious, they were not holding back on making this guy like the zoner of the game. It seems like it's like, oh, this is kind of horrifying.
Rain looks so dope, dude. Like, I'm really happy.
Honestly, yeah. Dude, it's like,
I don't care if he's not a ninja. I love his new design.
Same. Yeah. But like the thing that I'm very impressed with Rain is like, okay, he has a staff now. It's like they're not gonna like he's gotta know like some kung fu moves and stuff. Like, nope, his normals, his combos, all using water. It's like it's when people use punches and kicks, he's just using the staff and just summoning a bunch of water. So I'm like, damn, that's like insane VFX. They gotta like go just for his normals and stuff like that. Dude. And then he just has a kick because why not? Don't need to throw the water or anything. He can just use the kick. Yeah.
The kick kind of feels like out of place, but I understand
it does.
I understand that they're gonna put it in there because it's like, it's Rain. It's like
it's Rain.
It's his iconic move. I get that, but yeah, it does feel a little bit out of place. But still, it's like it's very useful. And yeah, dude, everything he has, he's a water wizard, so he's gonna. Use all the different things with his wizard staff. So
I think the advantage of turning him from a ninja to a mage is the fact that you just see so much like water effects from him now because he just keeps using the staff and that kind of stuff. And it looks great. I love the animation of the water effects for him.
So yeah,
I wouldn't be so pissed being zoned by him compared to like Deadshot for something like that. It's like, oh, he just keeps shooting me. Oh, look at the water particles. They're so pretty. Something like that.
Dude, don't remind me of Deadshot. That was the most that character gives me nightmares. That was one of the like I remember. Gosh, what was it? I remember Sonic Fox playing. I forgot what major.
Right?
No, he played. Who did he play? Black Adam and Deadshot. Those were his two. Well, he had two pictures. He had a picture of Black Adam with Foxtail, and then he had a picture of Deadshot with a Foxtail. And he looked at the audience and he gave them the option of who they're gonna pick.
Oh, that's fine.
If I was there, I would immediately said Black Adam. Because I hate Deadshot so much.
Of course, yeah, I'm pretty sure people would rather want Black Adam.
Yeah, it was so like I remember watching Sonic Fox's stream and he was just playing Deadshot and I was just like, I don't want to watch this anymore. This is so boring. Dude, I was like, I get it. He's Sonic. Away. I get it. I want to watch Sonic play. But yeah, anyway. So we covered Sindel, covered Reptile, covered Ashra. So who do you think is going to be the next two characters? Because there's two slots open. Yeah, there's two slots open. We kind of know who one of them is.
Oh yeah, for sure. We can just say it's basically going to be Natara, right?
Yeah, I think we can both agree it's going to be Natara.
It's not just the fact that it's like you should have Ashra and Natara, and not only just the fact that she's like fan favorite, people really want her back. I want her back. She would be like, I would want her a bit more over Ashra, specifically just her design alone. Vampire girl, like hello, why not? Yeah. But also because the San Diego the San Diego Comic Con, like when they showed the Lin Kuei tease, it's like, someone's screaming from the air. What's that?
Yeah, I wonder who that is. Yeah.
It's Onaga, of course. Yeah, he's gonna show up like that.
And you can hear the audience was like audibly like, oh, like,
it's like, oh, come on, show more kind of a situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we know it's Reiko. Wow. I mean, they already showed Reiko in the in the San Diego Comic-Con trailer.
San Diego.
So
he's also in the Sindel trailer too.
Barely. Like you can see him there, but no, he's not like a prevalent,
Oh yeah, no. We don't even know what he plays like yet. Yeah.
Yeah, but so yeah, Reiko's yet to be shown. We all know it's him. Everybody is kind of just like, yeah, it's definitely gonna be Natara. Like Natara is gonna be that extra spot, but there is one more spot. So
I do wonder because I'm trying to think. Every trailer we've gotten so far had like a theme to it. It's like the last one was Rulers of Outworld, and then the Banished trailer. I love the Banished trailer in the sense where it's like the three of these characters really don't have any correlation together, but they're all kind of like
they have the same theme.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. Oh, that's very clever in that sense.
Except for the Umgadi one. That was the only one because they had Li Mei, Tanya, and then all of a sudden Baraka is there.
It was like Li Mei, Tanya had a theme, and then Baraka was like
Umgadi. So yeah.
Is he going to have a theme with the Umgadi, or just they didn't know where to stuff Baraka, so just put him in the Umgadi trailer?
Yeah.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah.
What was it called? But yeah, so I'm trying to think like how would Reiko and Natara be for their trailers? It's like, will they be together? They should be together because let's see, they've only got 2 more weeks before the game comes out, probably.
Yeah.
2 or 3-ish. It's like they do not have a lot of time. So I'm thinking Natara and Reiko will be in the same trailer, but then why would they? It's like that's where things kind of like, and that's where I'm also kind of thinking, well, is that where the last character would be?
1, 2. We're literally 2.5 weeks away from release. Well, if you order premium,
it's coming out.
If you order premium edition, yeah. And dude, I'm kind of wondering too. Is like when are we gonna get like we got to get something because Ed Boon was all like oh, we're gonna have a really aggressive marketing campaign, and I was just and I mean at first everyone was like, okay, really, because not a lot came out after he said that, because and then we had the Combat Cast was last week, right?
Yeah.
So we got 2.5 weeks left, dude. It's like, what's going to happen now?
Every week has been something, basically, this entire August. It has been a lot more aggressive. I think Combat Cast is going on weekly now. Combat Casts have been a little bit slow. I calculated being like, they're not going to make it. They're definitely not going to be able to show all the characters if they with their progression right now, it seems like.
Yeah. I mean, with 2.5 weeks left, it's like, come on, show us something, dude. It's like,
yeah.
I also thought it was kind of interesting how is it that we can have like all the Combat Pack 1 DLC and we don't even have the full roster yet? I understand that they showed it at San Diego Comic-Con. They wanted to show like comic book characters and stuff like that, but
that might be true.
But I was like,
there was a theory that was going around that was like, well, there was a huge leak that came out, and basically a lot of people already knew who was going to be DLC because of that leak, and so they're probably thinking like, okay, fine, we're just gonna just show the comic pack.
And that leak wasn't even like my cousin's best friend works at NRS, so therefore it was like literally Amazon said
listing
it will also receive Combat Pack 1, which features Homelander, Omni-Man, and you're just like you're like, gosh, dang it, Amazon. Yeah.
And it's like, even though they haven't revealed it yet, it's like we also now know who the Cameo Fighter DLCs are too. It's like, wow, like what was it, 3 or 4 months before the game was even going to come out, or did that Amazon week came out? It's like, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, the final character on the list is definitely the interesting one because it's like a lot of people, from what I'm saying, they're basically fighting for Sonya and Jade. It seems like you're like, which one of these queens are going to be like the last spot? I think Jade has a bigger possibility than Sonya, specifically because
I don't think Sonya's going to be in this.
Yeah, because she's already a cameo fighter. It's like,
well, that doesn't mean that she can't be point.
She can't. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, why so late in the trailer would you reveal Sonya? And it almost feels like the special forces are barely even in the trailer as of right now.
I just hope they're completely gone. Like even if even if Sonya and Jax make it back in the game. By the way, that's not alcohol.
No, yeah.
Yeah, don't demonetize me. But by the way, I 100% copied that from your Combat Kings.
I know,
because I remember you guys said the exact same thing. Yeah. I know you got to put the pinky up next time you drink, though. So
I got pinky up.
Pinky up. But yeah, anyway, Sonya, even if Sonya and Jax make it back as a point characters, you know, in the game, I honestly hope they're not, you know, military. I think it'd just be cool if it was something else, because to me, Mortal Kombat is kung fu horror sci-fi. Yes. It will always be kung fu horror sci-fi, you know, in that order. So it's like, when they started I called it like military, was it Mortal Kombat? I called it military combat, because that's like what it felt like.
Military propaganda.
Yeah. It was like MKX and MK11 was like.
Exactly, those two.
Yeah, it was those two. It was just like all special forces and stuff. And I mean, Cassie Cage and Jackie were great. Were good. I particularly like Cassie Cage. I thought that was a great character. I definitely would have rather Frost be Jackie's spot, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because we had a Shaolin, we had a Shirai Ryu, and then 2 special forces. But if you wanted a Lin Kuei represented, a Lin Kuei and a female like to be in that, I would have rather had Frost. But anyway, that's in the past.
Yeah. I think there's like it's very obvious that if you see from the story like footage that we have that like some of the cameo fighters will be in the story mode and some won't, very obviously. Like you see Motaro with Reiko, so Motaro is going to be the cameo fighter when you fight Reiko. You see like Chameleon with Tanya, so she'll probably be there too. So there is some theories going on that's like Sonya and Jax won't be playable, but they will be in the story somehow, but they'll just be maybe helpers and cameo fighters in that sense. There was like I think it was the Reptile trailer where you see like Johnny and like Kung Lao wearing more of like a silver suit in that kind of sense. And it's like, well, did Liu Kang give them that, or did
they're in like
the special forces give
festival
them that?
Gear or something like that?
Oh, the festival gear is a different one. I'm talking about like when they were walking in the forest, or like when they were in the cage. They had like a different silver.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's like, is that like Liu Kang's Earth Defenders like uniform, or did the special forces give them that gear? And will we have a section be like, Johnny, go to the special forces to get gear and come back, and then the next scene like, I'm back, I met a blonde lady. Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally be fine. I know people are also going to hate me for this. It almost seems like they're setting up like Johnny and Katana, like to be a thing.
Sort of. Well, like, it's an intro dialogue, so we don't know. I do like some of those intro dialogues, very cute, where Katana's like, oh, movies are amazing you guys have here.
And he's like, check us out. Like, dude, Johnny Cage's intro dialogues are great, and I'm so happy Johnny is
so happy,
Dude, Johnny is Johnny. He's back.
Exactly.
Like, when Johnny Cage, like, the way he fights, the way his mannerisms, I'm like, yes, Johnny Cage is back. You know,
it's still Johnny, exactly.
I did like MK11 Johnny though. You know, the father.
I would say I don't dislike any NRS Johnny iterations.
I have not.
They're all funny. They're all great.
I have not found one Johnny Cage I didn't like. You know,
is it MK11 younger Johnny?
There's both. Remember, because it's like the past. Yeah.
Oh, so MK9 Johnny too. I see.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Oh, I just said like I like every NRS Johnny Cage basically, like mannerism at least.
Like I was gonna say throughout the entire franchise, like all of the franchise.
Of course,
I have not found one Johnny Cage I didn't like. You know?
I have one, but yeah, it's neither here nor there.
yeah. But so far the NRS, because the first one, it's like he was like the annoying, arrogant actor, and then MKX, he was like kind of like
a father,
a father, loving father, also like a good leader. And I actually really, really liked MK11 Johnny, because I really liked the banter between young Johnny and old Johnny.
Yes,
you know, it was almost like they're literally like brothers, you know? So it was kind of cool to see them go back and forth. When he says like, I saw him, we swear to hit that, then older Johnny comes over and like grabs him by the ear and stuff like that.
Like, ow, ow.
Yeah. He's like,
the slap is just great.
when he takes the M4 and he grabs the door and he gets super pissed off and goes and starts shooting, and old Johnny's just like,
shot our face.
Dude, that was so perfect, dude. Yeah, they did a great job with Johnny, but But yeah, so who are you putting? I'm sorry, back to the original conversation. Who do you think is going to be that other? We know it's definitely
the hidden character,
Natara.
right?
It's definitely Natara. We can agree it's going to be Natara. So
Yes.
who's? Oh, you said Sonya or Jade. That's where we got on this, was Sonya or Jade.
Yeah. I think those are the people who like are fighting for who's gonna be the last one.
I think the fans are fighting for it, but what's actually going to happen?
Yeah, I think there's two things right now. One is the fact that it's like the line Countess Jade is so specific that it's like, how can she not be in the story, or how can she not be like related to the situation if you say specifically Countess Jade, not even just Jade, like your helper Jade or something. No, it's like, yeah, like that seems like a different. But at the same time, it's like, why would she not be in the trailers at all? Like, I feel like there's a lot of scenes where it's like you see a lot of characters, you see a coronation, you see characters walking up to Sindel, la-di-la-di-la. It's like, I feel like one of those scenes Jade would have already shown up.
It's like they've showed Chameleon. I mean, why would they not? Yeah, I get it. And she's a prevalent figure too. I mean, in the outworld, like in outworld politics, it's like she's a bureaucrat. You know, it's kind of crazy that that kind of figure wouldn't be there. What if interested a really good job hiding her? So.
Yeah. What if crazy theory is that like, what if she's, well, I mean, I don't know how good NRS are hiding things. We already knew Sindel was going to be in the game because of one katana, like fatal blow, or like one of the intros you see in the background. You already see her on the throne. And it's like, oh, who's that? Oh, what's that? A couple months back already.
I fight like my mom. I think she says that. Yeah.
You can see in the bio Sindel and even the words General Shao so many times. Eventually, San Diego Comic Con was just like, okay, yeah, they exist in this world. So perhaps Jade, there is a possibility like she could be a cameo fighter. Maybe that's how they tie her into the story and whatnot.
Maybe, yeah. See,
there is also one more hidden cameo fighter too. That is one of the.
That is very true. But cameos is really hard to predict because so far all the cameos have been, either from the past, they could have zero to do with the lore. So, you know what I mean? So
cameo fighters have been like, half of them are like, oh, interesting, obscure characters, and the other half are like, so we don't want to piss all the fans too much, so let's put in all the characters who should be in the roster: Sonya, Jax, Kano, Sector, Cyrax.
Right.
There will be cameos this time. I'm gonna be honest. There's one thing I really dislike about the cameo fighters is the fact that you have this unique system with like, and I'm talking about this more from like a character selection side of things. You have this unique system of like mechanics that they want to add, and like, oh, they can be playable, but you can still have them as cameo fighters to just have them in the game. I still hate the fact that there's duplicates. Like Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Kung Lao are cameos. It's like, they're playable. Why are they cameos here? Like, okay, sure, I love what they can do. It's like Sub-Zero armor, the Kung Lao teleport, the Scorpion grabbing your partner away from the stuff.
Yeah,
but it's like,
cool.
Man, I want more obscure characters in that in that places and whatnot. And now, like, these three just took up those spots and stuff like that. That's like a little bit of a gripe for there. But yeah, I hate saying this, but it feels more and more possible as we're getting closer and closer to the release day that I just feel like Chronica is going to be playable or a cameo. It's like, remember what we just talked about, where it's like, oh, each character has like body types that all look similar, and that's why they're easy to do fatalities and stuff like that. And I look at the story mode, and it's like, oh, you get all these random people in the background. Oh, look at the old man farmer, isn't he funny looking? Oh, look at the chill guy drinking the beer, Madame Bo. They all have different body types. They all don't have like the same body types as the main characters. Chronica does. Chronica looks like a character you can do a fatality on. And that's like that feeling goes like, oh boy.
And you know what, it's like my theory was that Chronica is tied to the hourglass, and that's why she still exists. Like her existence, like the hourglass relies on her existence, and her existence relies on the hourglass.
I kind of wish Geras would have just solved that issue. Like that's really what I wish from a story writing perspective. But you might be right about that too.
Yeah, and Geras is I mean, he talks about like duty. He talks about like he's, you know, his being able to serve is like his most, you know, highest whatever.
Uh-huh.
I can't think of the word for it. Honor, his like his biggest
Well, it's his
honors.
job. Yeah,
exactly. It's literally what he was designed to do, and
it's purpose.
Exactly. Well, with Kronika, it's like he is tied to Kronika. So I would suspect that Geras is actually like, you know,
working with Kronika,
like the sub boss, and Kronika is like the main boss. And if Kronika is in the game, I hope she's the boss, and I hope you kill her for good. I mean, I would totally be okay with that.
We've killed her twice.
Yeah,
she's still not dead yet. And she should have been dead for good in that game.
Yeah, and then destroy the Hourglass. I'm actually curious to see how the whole Liu Kang thing plays out, because it's like, why is Liu Kang protector of Earthrealm? You literally created the universe, so how are you here?
Yes.
What's going on? You know,
the interesting thing is, I don't know if you saw this, but there's already like the intro to the game. Like, I'm not talking about the prologue with Shang Tsung. I'm talking about when you boot up the game, there's an intro, and Liu Kang will basically narrate.
The Big Bang happens.
Yeah. And basically Liu Kang just talks like very like godlike, basically like, oh, I've created this, but what you guys want to do is up to you. With that being said, though, I'm going to come to Earthrealm. I'm going to recruit the Earth Defenders and do all these sort of things. It's like, like, what's up with this now? So it's like, I do think there's a lot they're not saying about Liu Kang just yet, because I get a lot of comments of people saying like, why did Liu Kang allow this to happen? Why is Kronika back, Liu Kang? Why did you do that? And that kind of thing. And I'm fairly certain that Liu Kang was not in control of those situations.
Exactly.
Like, something holding him back. It seems like that's what's going on here.
No, that's exactly my, like, one of the points I made is that the fact that, like, okay, if Liu Kang is truly in control of this universe, which I think he created it and he's not in control of it, is the way I look at it. But is that in order for Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn, or sorry, General Shao, because we have to say that now. But all these characters that still exist that were like bad in the past, it's like, why would Liu Kang allow that to exist? And that's because he literally doesn't have that kind of control. Because a lot of people think of like Liu Kang as like kind of creator of the universe, and he's this omnipresent, omnipotent, God. But that's not it. In the Mortal Kombat universe, gods don't necessarily have control over the outcomes of things or like who can be born. So therefore it's like Shang Tsung exists because there's nothing Liu Kang could do about it. His existence is inevitable.
The also, it's not necessarily Liu Kang is creating the universe. He's creating it with the hourglass. So it's like he might not have complete control over like that stuff. It's not like I am God. It's like I am God, but I can't. I'm using this to recreate the universe and whatnot.
Right. So, yeah, I would be okay if Kronika is that final character. I would hope it was. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, like, I want to see gameplay. If her gameplay is fun, okay. Because Geras, I had no interest in seeing a Geras coming back is interesting because in MK11 he's just a jobber, period. But in this game, he feels like more like more of an interesting presence. It's like Liu Kang is nice to him, and he feels more like he's purpose of the hourglass and whatnot.
Kind of glitching out there a little bit.
Are we back here?
No, there you are.
Hello?
Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
I can hear. The audio is actually glitching out this time.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I just basically said like Geras is more of a neutral stance and like actually feels like he's fulfilling his purpose in this game. It seems like
he's almost like Alfred to Batman. Like when he's almost to Liu Kang. Like Alfred is to Batman as Geras is to Liu Kang this time around.
That seems really a cute way to see it. However, I do think he's a neutral alliance, though. It doesn't seem like he's taking sides. It seems like
he just does what needs to be done.
Yeah, but I had no interest in Geras really in gameplay. But when they showed his gameplay, I'm like, damn, he looks hype. This character actually does look kind of interesting in like what they did in this gameplay this time. If they do that with Chronica, okay, cool. Like make Chronica interesting, because it's like obviously she's not the all powerful Titan she was before. She's definitely nerfed in this timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So from a gameplay standpoint, sure. Yeah. I hope she has blue blood so everybody can use her in the testing mode on YouTube, because that way we won't get demonetized.
Yeah, right. No, I would be okay with that. I would rather Jade be there, but then again, the Jade stands are kind of like, whoa.
Look, I love Jade. Jade's like my favorite Adinian. I really don't like the stands though. But it's like
Mortal Kombat 11 had the Melina stands. Mortal Kombat 1 has the Jade stands, and it's like it's pretty bad. You should have seen even Foxy Grandpa. He just put out like a test tweet, and dude, he got blew up for it, and he's like, "This was a test, and you all failed." Like, it was kind of funny.
Foxy is like having the funniest engagements with them.
Oh yeah,
I think the funniest one is like shut up, you never won a tournament or anything like that. Here's my medal.
He's like literally like, here's my trophy case. Are you sure? Like,
yeah.
That was so funny.
So probably Chronica, either main roster or the last character. Man, I don't really. But if it's not Chronica as the cameo fighter, I don't know if it's Jade though. Because like, even though people really want her,
the rumor is that Jade is like Combat Pack 2.
I've heard, because of how many people want her now. I think that's one of the reasons why.
I don't think so. I think it's because she's actually a prominent figure in the game, and that they need to include her. But in order for to get people hyped and buy the game, the casuals to buy the game, you need people like Homelander and Omni-Man, and you know, so of course that's going to be Combat Pack 1, and then a year later we'll get Jade. But I think another rumor is that it's going to be an original character.
And you mentioned this,
and it's going to be like a Chaos female character.
That's very specific. Okay.
Well, it's like a female like someone who like a female who's following Havoc, essentially.
Okay.
And that's kind of the rumor. That's what I've been, hearing kind of.
I forgot. Did Ed Boon say, because like I remember Ed Boon once in an interview was like, is there going to be NRS created characters in this game? And he was like, yes, and that was Geras. But did he ever say that there was going to be like a new character? I forgot if he said that.
I don't think he's confirmed or denied it.
I see.
Yeah.
I just remember one last character, General Shao's father, because he's been kind of name dropped. I mean, he's mentioned a couple of times, and the big theory is it's Onaga.
Yeah, that's the theory. I've heard that one.
Because now he's got the horns and stuff like that. Onaga as a character, maybe, but I think Onaga has been such, or at least General Shao's father has been such in the background so much that it might be a sequel character kind of a situation. Might be the after credits or something.
Yeah. Onaga, I think, would be cool to have in like a later game. Maybe like they're setting it up for Onaga to come in like Mortal Kombat 2. So
I just thought about something. Have we okay, there's been like a debate and like a very big theory about like in the Lin Kuei trailer when like when the Lin Kuei were going up to like that snow temple, it's like they then hear the Lin Kuei, we have been expecting you, and people are like, oh, is that Reiko? Is that Geras? Is that Shao Kahn or General Shao? Who is that?
It doesn't sound like any of them.
Yeah, it does sound like the same voice actor as General Shao, but it doesn't sound like him. Yeah, and it's like in that scene they also fight those undead warriors. So what if that is Onaga? It's like,
it sounds like
it seems
like they're setting it up, or maybe Onaga is the big bad and he's unplayable.
Maybe, but
it glitched out there a second. Just give it.
Sorry.
It always comes back. It's okay.
Okay.
Like we said, as long as the audio is okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. He's back. Okay.
Okay, great.
Yeah, this is kind of fun. He goes out, and we're just like, oh, he's out. Oh, there he is. He's back. So yeah, I mean, there's so much that we just don't know. There's rumors upon who. There's predictions, and then there's like we've heard rumors, and like I haven't heard like necessarily like leaks about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've only heard like rumors upon who it could be, and those rumors are not like predictions. They're like, I heard it's going to be this, and
Yeah.
So that's why I've decided for the difference between them. But
I agree with you on the fact that we don't know what's happening. Just like about an hour ago, you mentioned saying like MK feels like a half roster good, half roster evil situation.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the current roster we've got is a lot more good instead of bad guys.
It is.
It's like actually
that was kind of the point I was making.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to even say who is the bad guy this time. Obviously Shane, but it's like, I mean, General Shao and Sindel, they're outworld characters, but it's not. It doesn't feel like a good versus evil situation.
Mm-hmm.
It feels more like a lot of alliances in this game. It seems like this time,
almost like a political drama.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it feels. Yeah,
nobody really feels like too big of a bad guy. That's why I feel like probably the later half of the game, it's more like different factions going up against each other, betrayals, a lot of misunderstandings. It seems like you misunderstand me, Princess Reptile says, and then or like Li Mei with Tanya, let us pass. Misunderstandings. A lot of these types of fights. It seems like.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I'm kind of curious about the whole Li Mei Tanya interaction when she's like, because a lot of people now, at first, everybody's like, Tanya's always going to be a betrayer, and at first, personally, I was like, okay, I think Tanya is actually a loyalist this time around, but I also think that Tanya's love for Melina will kind of force her to make some bad decisions, and then. Kind of like in the way that Jax did in MK11, he joined Kronika because he wanted to protect Jackie. It's like, no, that's the wrong decision, Jax, but he made a bad decision with good intentions. And I think Tanya is probably going to have a very similar situation happen.
Okay. Yeah. Perhaps. We'll see.
So one person in my comment section actually said, that Tanya is going to take the fall for something Melina does, and then she'll be considered a traitor.
Ooh.
Not
too shabby.
That would actually be pretty dope. That would actually be pretty cool.
That is one thing I will admit that we barely have in the entire game. I feel like because there's some major spoilers, and that's where they're not showing anything. We're barely seeing much of Melina. In the story.
Yeah, and that's the thing. For whatever reason, in the combat cast, they have not done Melina yet, and the stories and everything, because in her bio, it says she's super aggressive. But so far, all we know is she got Tarkat, and that's it. That's all we know, is she got to...
Yeah, she's got some disease. Pretty morning pissy faces being shown in the trailer, kind of faces and whatnot, where Katana's the more... happy one, whatever.
We see. I like when they're at the festival and it's them two side by side, and Katana's doing the wave. The wave. Whoa, my camera! Watch this.
I noticed that. Yeah. Hey, look at it go.
Yeah. Anyway, she's doing the wave, and then all of a sudden, Melina's gone, and Katana's like.
Yeah. But before that, you see Melina being like.
Oh, she's giving her the dirty. Because she's jealous. She's jealous of Katana, and I think that's
it seems like that.
So, but
I agree with you. I hope they don't go the obvious route and just turn her evil. I do wish that she has a bit more. I do wish she goes a more redemption arc for her too.
A little bit more.
There is a character in the NRS games that I remember, and this character, mannerism wise in the game, is a complete villain. He's like, haha, you're pathetic. Oh, you're never gonna win me. I'm the best. I'm obviously evil when you're playing as me. I make these quotes mocking you, but in the story mode, he's just a complete good guy.
Who's this?
Lex Luthor from Injustice: Gods Among Us.
Yeah.
Right? In the game, he's super evil when you play as him, or in the beginning of the chapter. But in the story mode later on, he's biggest good guy ever. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that's kind of like a bit of what they could do with some of these characters too. It's like, well, Sindel's mannerisms, and like she's like when she uses the fatal blow, she's like that kind of a thing. It's like, or Melina is like obviously going rabid with her mouth and stuff. But maybe in the story, they're good guys more in that kind of sense.
Mm-hmm. I hope so.
That's my hopeful thinking.
I would really like. I don't think that's the case, but I really would hope that Melina is actually like, you know, at least like a neutral party in this, or a good guy. You know,
she tries and stuff.
Exactly.
There was that one scene in the Rulers trailer where they're walking on the streets, where the Goro was playing the drums and the Shokan's drinking 2 beers. You see Melina looking at like these people being like taken away, and she seemed kind of pissed. So maybe she cares about them. Maybe she cares about her people.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, the 2 characters. So like, who's the next characters? It's kind of like hard to predict that one. Like all we've heard is like rumors and stuff. So it's really hard that. But
I'm sadly gonna put my bet on Chronica. I really hate doing that, but that's my bet.
I hope that Chronica is either one of 2 things. I either hope she's a prevalent part of the story, but she is like gonna go away. You know? It's like, I don't want Chronica, because I said this in one of my videos too. I was like, wait. You really are going to bring back like the worst villain ever created in Mortal Kombat in the Mortal Kombat franchise? That just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Why would you do that? Everyone universally did not like Chronica as a villain. Yeah. So what are you doing? You know, another person, by the way, I read my comments. If you haven't already found this obvious, I actually read my comments. Nice. One person in the comments pointed out like Chronica, that could not be Chronica. That could be either Chronica's sister, or it could be an illusion of Chronica, or it
is true because they never name drop her.
She actually never says that I'm Chronica, but she does point out that Shang Tsung was meant for more, and since before he was born, he's been conspired against. That means that someone knew about him in the past timeline. Because you don't just say that, you have to know what happened before.
Well, someone that's been conspiring against him, she could be meaning like Liu Kang.
That Liu Kang has conspired against him. Like Liu Kang some way has made it so that, okay, Shang Tsung exists. I'm going to make sure that he's a snake oil salesman. I'm going to, yeah, you know what I mean? So it could possibly be Geras, who is the one who's creating the illusions or whatever. I mean, it could be many different things. So far, I'm not going to lie. So far, NRS has done a great job at hiding the main points of the story. Nothing like they've done in the past.
I really don't know where this plot is going. I feel like after the Rulers of Outworld trailer, I could slightly see a better picture a bit more because, they say the tournament. So that's like, we at least know what the early game, it seems like, of the story mode is going to be. But
is the tournament... I'm sorry, is the tournament deciphering like who controls the realms? Or is the tournament like
an interesting thing to do,
like a medieval jousting tournament that's like something that's for like entertainment, that's supposed to like bring the realms together and enjoyment? You know what I mean?
I feel like that's what's going on right now. Actually,
that's what I feel too.
Just like the Olympics kind of situation.
Exactly.
Maybe the sequel will have a more serious tournament. Maybe like when they're not happy with each other, because like Liu Kang said, it's like Outworld and Earthrealm, we have peace. We're fine. At the beginning of the trailer, he already says that. So it's like, it doesn't make sense to have an invading tournament like Mortal Kombat. So this seems to be just like a for fun kind of tournament. So,
right.
Like I'm assuming there is some stakes. There's at least a little bit of like pride in that, or ego stakes or something like that. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what the stakes are for this tournament.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this plays out, but we'll see. So yeah, on to the last, segment of the thing. I asked you at the very beginning, what is your make or break?
Oh boy.
what is your make or break? What is the 1 or 2 things that will make this game? I cannot put the controller down. I'm just I'm stuck to the screen, or is it, I don't want to play anymore?
Well, first off, if Reptile's good, so luckily that's already been checked. Unironically, like there are video games that I play out there that I do feel like the character I play as, or like the experience, like the character I play as, if I do like them, it helps out the experience a ton, even if I maybe not like the game so much. It's like Baldur's Gate 3 has been out. It's been high. It's been like everyone's been playing that game. It's like fun, really great RPG, and it's like I don't know. I don't know if it's really my thing. You can play as a dragonborn. Done. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I am very happy with the treatment of how they're doing with Reptile. Like I'm a very mixed bag with all the other characters, but I'm so excited to see what they're doing in Reptile in this game in that aspect. Okay, I guess I'll start with some makes then. So I'm more of a casual character. Like I feel like my fans will expect it to be like, oh, if the story is good, then you'll probably make that. But it's like, even if the story's bad, I'm still gonna play through it and have fun. It's still gonna be an entertaining experience. It's like, like that's, and it's also, despite it being a big thing, it's also like like you go through the story mode and that's pretty much it. You're just gonna start playing the game. Of course, I still want the story to be good because I actually think the effect of the story does like affect how people talk about the game or even the characters and stuff like that.
The story is honestly the most prevalent part of Mortal Kombat. I mean, it's you go into the FG, okay, if you look at the entire Mortal Kombat FGC, it's like I don't know the numbers for sure, but by the way, I expect Mortal Kombat to sell 20 million copies. Mortal Kombat 1.
Oh yeah.
I expect it.
It's gonna be big.
I think Mortal Kombat 11 sold 15 million. I expect this one to sell 20 million. Now, when it comes to the competitive scene, there's very few people who play competitive Mortal Kombat. Now, I mean, there's a lot.
Interesting. In comparison,
there's a lot in comparison to the casuals that play it.
Okay.
You know, I expect like for, you know, like a really, really high grand majority of people play Mortal Kombat casually rather than competitively. I mean, they don't market the game like the Street Fighter and Tekken does, because those games completely revolve around the competitive scene. You know, Street Fighter did a really good job with the world tour, so that casuals can, you know, can do the open world. There's also, you know, there's the story mode and stuff like that. But those games are definitely kind of geared towards competitive players.
Interesting. Okay.
Mortal Kombat is also, the gameplay and the mechanics are geared towards competitive players, yes. But when it comes to, you know, the actual, you know, the casuals, they are known for their story mode. They're known for their single player content. And that's probably where they put most of their focus on. You know,
I feel like I chat with my brother with Mortal Kombat all the time. He doesn't play it at all, but he follows every single story mode just because it's like a little movie in the kind of way when you're watching it and going through it and stuff. Yeah. But okay. But we'll see how the story mode goes. I mean, that's also my main focus on the content wise of things. I guess it doesn't even matter if it's good or not. Like I will be picking up Mortal Kombat mainly. Well,
if it's terrible, you'll make content on why it's so bad. If it's good, you'll make content on why it's so good. You know?
Yeah, so, basically. I'll be script writing that for the next several months probably. Yeah. That'll be my YouTuber aspect of that. But for me, some of the things I love the most about fighting games is, I guess, I'm not like I haven't been playing too many like online fighting games with friends and stuff like that, but probably could do that in the future more, especially with this game coming out. I probably could find some people. But to me also, I love single player content and stuff, so like story mode and whatnot. It's definitely not the easiest to ask for like a good single player experience in fighting games nowadays. It's not required because it's like you're here for multiplayer fighting game shenanigans, and your camera really shake when you drink the water just then. But like some of my favorite games have like excellent single player content. Like my favorite game is Super Smash Bros. And as you know, even though the online stuff is so fun to play online, but the single player for that game there's stuff in it. There's a lot of things, modes you can do that, especially Brawl, the Wii version, Subspace Emissary, my jam. But also there's like all sorts of modes in that. The baseball, the home run contest, the I love boss rushes and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And like I like games that have these like more to it than just one-on-one fighting and stuff like that.
Right.
And from the looks of it, I will be looking forward to checking out how they do invasions, because that's going to be the single player content other than story mode that we'll be able to play.
It looks very interesting.
People are saying it's reminding them of like the towers and stuff like that from 11. It kind of reminds me, well, not entirely, but a little bit of Challenge Tower from MK9. Mm-hmm. Where like, oh, maybe there'll be a funny scenario, because there's a little bit of plot with it too, and whatnot. Although you get to pick your own character, because Challenge Tower, it's like each tower is each challenge is a different character.
And something I really wanted to add to that is that the biggest turnoff with the Mortal Kombat 11 towers was the fact that you had to be on at certain times and different times so you can get like different gear pieces.
Yeah,
I really didn't like that. I really hope that Invasion has like, okay, you have to complete this node on hard with Johnny Cage to get this certain, gear piece. That's fine. I'm okay with gear pieces. That's totally fine. I don't care about that. I just care about like, okay, if I want this costume, this is how I get it.
It's about, you don't like the limited edition about the time limits and stuff like that, bro. Like,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I kind of missed how the crypto is. Like I can go to, in Deception if I want to unlock,
exactly.
I go to, Tomb IV and there it is. That's how I get it. I kind of hope it's the same concept.
Yeah. I really hope they turn down the not online play, but like online connecting microtransaction shenanigans of this. Because if I'm not mistaken, there is going to still be a shop in the game. So like, okay,
yeah, I'm fine.
Sure.
I'm okay with that. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I do hope this, because they mentioned seasons, and the first thing I think about seasons of invasions is like battle pass. Is that what you're talking about? I hope that's not the case. I hope it's not complete this within a limited time and you get the level 100 reptile skin that you really want, but you better spend like 18 hours a day trying to grind this or something like that. Yeah. I hope that's not the case. I hope it's just a fun experience of just like unlocking things and whatnot. I guess the bad microtransaction would go into the what do you call it, the maker of one, what was the segment again? Yeah, I put that more in a little bit of the break kind of section.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's very hard for me to like give it a break for like this type of game. Like I feel like if you got me into it, then that's already a make. You really have to try hard to make me like break, like not want to play this game anymore kind of situation.
Right. I
feel like for me, my favorite genre of gaming isn't even like fighting games. I love talking about them, but like I like Souls-likes and I like Metroidvanias and stuff like that. Well, those are the games I like to go like play through. So like fighting games, I would definitely put more as like a casual kind of a thing. So it's like for me, when I put down the controller, it's just because I don't really want to play fighting games right now.
Right.
Kind of a situation, and I don't really see too much of like breaking as of like right now before the game is even out. Other than maybe some microtransaction issues and. Hopefully, it's not too toxic of an online environment if you play that game. Like I know some fighting games can be kind of toxic if you play online in that kind of situation.
It really depends on the community. The Mortal Kombat community online is probably the most toxic. Like,
never heard about that. Yeah,
yeah. There's definitely it's definitely the most toxic. Street Fighter's not so much. Tekken, no. Guilty Gear, no.
That's good.
Like. I haven't had that many. I've had a few toxic experiences in Street Fighter 6, but there's no voice chat, so you don't have to.
There is voice chat in MK, right? If I'm
There's
not mistaken.
Voice chat in MK, yeah. At least in the PlayStation version. When I played it on PC, I don't think there's a voice chat in the PC version. So and I ordered both, so we'll see how that goes. I'm definitely going to play the story mode, probably on both my PS5 and my PC, but probably primarily my PC, just because my I have a pretty powerful rig, but yeah,
I'm looking very forward to playing on the Switch version just to see like how that would manage.
Yeah.
It's 100 gigabytes. How is that going to go on the Switch?
Yeah, and how is the Switch going to be able to like handle it? Yeah, like, is the Switch powerful enough to handle it?
the stages look beautiful. It's like, what are they gonna look like on the Switch?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, is it gonna be like a giant blur in the background or something?
Yeah.
That actually is a little bit of a sidetrack here, but after seeing Invasions, it kind of makes sense as to why the stages look so beautiful now. It's like, oh, because you can actually explore around the stages in Invasions, so it's like it's bigger than what they're even showing and stuff like that. So that's kind of a smart way of doing it too.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, make or break. Yeah, make if Reptile's great, and break if Reptile dies or something like that in story mode.
Yeah. So yeah, that's very similar for me. Is like the make or break is like I'm in the same boat as you. If the story is bad, I'll still play the game because ultimately 99% of my time is spent in the lab or online, playing ranked, and that's what like I don't think I'll probably play Invasion to get some costumes. But I don't think I would spend a lot of time in Invasion. Maybe if I streamed it, sure, just so I can hang out with the chat. But that's pretty much why. But other than that, yeah, I probably just play online for the most time. So having said that, the make or break for me is one, cross-platform.
I remember that. Yeah, you did say that. That's right.
I really hope that cross-platform is the thing. At the same time, now that I bought a PS5, I kind of hope it's not.
You know what? Bad internet? Is that why?
No, it's because it's like I just spent all this money on a PS5 when I have this powerful computer. When I would rather just play it on my powerful computer that has zero input lag, and I can, play against people on a PS5 with my PC. So I kind of hope that. But no, I got the PS5, so I'll probably primarily play competitively online with the PS5 because because no matter what, there's always going to be more people playing it on a console than there are on PC. Now, I've heard people say that the cross platform is coming like a year later or something, but that's fine. But the two biggest things I have, one is ranked. I really hope they have a better ranked system and a good season. So in MK9 and MKX, there was just no rank. There was ranked play, but it was like, oh, this is your ranked win-loss record. This is your casual win-loss record. There was like no kind of rewards to it. Yeah. And there's no satisfaction. One of my favorite things to watch online is like Road to Grandmaster or Road to Master, or Road to whatever with whatever game that is, Road to Tower to, I think it's, what is it in Guilty Gear? Like Road to Road to the ninth floor, I think is what it is.
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so it's like, but in Street Fighter, it's like Road to, now the newest thing is Road to something MR. So I really like watching those because I would hope to make my own too.
Okay.
It's very like cool. That's one thing I'd like to do, but it's like I am on my own path in Street Fighter, to get I main Cammy. So getting Cammy to master is like my goal. And I really hope that in ranked Mortal Kombat I can do the same thing. And on top of that, I'm cool with seasons. Seasons are completely fine. It's just I really like the way I've said this a lot, League of Legends seasons. Okay. They last like 9-10 months. And there's rewards and it's like there's rewards at the end for getting your placement there. I didn't like that my whole rank was reset every month. I thought that was kind of dumb.
Very short. Yeah, I think it's a difference between games. It's like I'm always used to, whenever someone mentions ranked, it's like, okay, League of Legends, it's like, it used to be a year. I don't know if it's, she says 10 months
I think it's still a year.
Okay, yeah, it's about a year for each.
It's a year, but I think it's like 9 or 10 months before they send out the rewards, but then they reset in like, I think January, February or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
I forgot,
but like those are very long. Those are like, okay, you can take your time if you want to climb. It's like no rush. You got to
trust me, it's a climb because each game is 45 minutes long, dude. It
still is. Yeah,
it's a grind, and I'm completely fine with grinding up that. That's the thing. Is like I'm completely fine with grinding up that Mortal Kombat ladder.
Yeah, and then like some games, it's like I used to used to play a game called Hearthstone. It's like a card game.
Yeah.
That was
Blizzard's card
a month.
game.
Yeah, that was only 1 month for like one season,
wow.
basically. So you want to grind to the legend rank, and that one is like, I actually did it once, and it really took like a lot of time. Just keep playing every day, basically. But what was it? But like, it depends on the game, essentially. I'm not too certain about ranked and fighting games. Are there other games that have it longer for the seasons, or like? Because you say MK is a month too, right? Basically.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
But if other games do it longer, then yeah, I personally like it when you have a longer time to do seasons. I think they think when a season is like shorter, it's like, oh, that means there's a new thing each season, or kind of a thing to get people more engaged or something like that. But
yeah,
I don't know. For ranked, I personally like it longer too.
I would even be okay if the ranked was just set indefinitely, and it's like you can get, like you can get this, like they'd have a skin or a costume for each character upon reaching a certain rank. But it had to, like, that was kind of the way it was with Combat League. It just reset. I would be okay with them having one skin or one costume, because this is, a fighting game, not League of Legends, because League of Legends is skins and this one's costumes, right? So I would be okay with them having a costume. And even if they did do seasons, make it like a year. It's like, okay, you have a year to reach Elder God to get this costume for each character. Each character would have a specific Elder God costume. Like, I'd be completely okay with that. But it's just make it satisfying and rewarding.
Exactly. It's like, I got to this rank, so that's why I have this skin, and I want to show it off. Like that's a lot of games do that. I feel like.
Yeah.
I personally would rather it just be like a decal, just be like a color palette, because
that would be
working
cool
too. Because if you have to work your ass off for like a specific legendary, like a really great skin, it's like, man, I gotta work my ass off for that. But if it's just like a special palette, it's like, okay, there's a different color palette. It's like, you have that, you're a badass, but even if you don't have it, it's like, it's just a color palette. Who cares?
Yeah.
Kind of a situation.
The other is balancing the game. Another form of competitive, but here's the thing. I understand.
Let's not have Shiva stomp for an entire year or something.
Okay, that's the thing I was going to bring up. That's exactly it. I mean, it took a girl to cry on stream for them to finally fix it. Now, I understand. I completely understand if you do some balance patches and it takes a month or so, to work its way through the game, because you might have something that seems a little imbalanced or unfair or overpowered, but then you play it for 2 weeks and then you find out actually it's not worth anything, it's not good. It's that's one thing, but it's another thing for Shiva Stomp to be that powerful and them not fix it for an entire year. People would argue that there's people have made arguments that is what truly killed Mortal Kombat 11 was the Shiva Stomp.
I saw a video talking about it. Basically, it was a very good 15-minute video, like the meta of like, and it's like
exactly,
and then the Shiva Stomp situation. Yeah. It was like the last half of it.
And make it to where each character has a win condition for every character. Not like, I know that there's going to be some characters who are better than others, but like, so Evo 2022 was Street Fighter 5 Evo 2022 was super fun to watch, because the top 8 literally had a different character for each person. All the top 8.
I love that separate characters. When that happens.
Exactly.
And like when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate just came out, one of the biggest major tournaments happened. The top 8 were all different characters too, and I was like, "Oh, it's so exciting to see like who's the best character and that kind of stuff." Yeah,
you don't want to see like King DDD like for every single character. You don't like every.
Well, hang on, King DDD is very bad in the game. I would want to see him if he played a lot more.
Yeah, the point is that like I don't play Smash. I just name a character that's specific to Smash, but.
Yeah, but like in this Evo, it's like, I remember there was the joke that's like every tournament, like every match was a mirror match in this Evo, right? If I'm mistaken.
And it's pretty much like Garrus, Jackie, and who's the
Fujin.
other one? Yes, Fujin. Is Gears Jackie and Fujin, and that's all it was. It gets boring to watch. So it's like, please make the game balanced in a way that, or not balanced. It's like, give each player a good win condition, so that at least each character can win against every character. Like, if played correctly.
It seems like this time there's a lot more of that possibility, because it's like, I feel like I'm like, oh, this ability seems pretty strong, and it's like, okay, well, you see the cameo fighter can do this to maybe counter it, or like I remember when like they showed Goro's stomp. It's like, oh crap, are we gonna do this again? But it's like, use your own entire meter if you use that though. So do you want to do that? It's like, yeah, it seems like there's a lot more. Yeah, because it's not a what do they call this? The summon and the ambush, right? It's not an ambush. It's like you do the pose. If you summon Goro, they got to do the pose and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like there's a lot more counterplay to everything in the game as of right now.
And I think the cameos is probably going to be a great way of fixing that. And I'm really looking forward to people playing, like, for instance, like I said, like, by the way, it's like, I was gun-ho on Sindel. Like, when
okay,
I was all about Sindel. You know, when I first saw the trailer for her and the
first trailer.
Cast. Yeah, the first trailer and the combat cast and stuff, and I was like, dude, Sindel looks OP. And I can't
in the
wait
combat cast, yeah. Honestly,
but then the more I thought about it and started looking, watching the combat casts, watched all of them and over again, and then seeing some of the trailers and stuff, I'm like, dude, I'm all about Ashra. Dude, Ashra looks sick, and
that's great.
Smoke, Reptile also look really, really fun to play. But yeah, like, I'm actually looking forward to Ashra, unless if Natara comes out and she is just the most OD champ in the entire then I'll switch over to Natara. There's so much
potential for Natara. Yeah, I'm excited to see her.
I have some great videos on that, by the way. So if anybody gets a chance, go watch my Natara must-have video. I have some theories on her. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
What was I saying? I was just gonna say, like, Natara, yeah, like, she should be out in like a couple days from a reveal trailer, probably, or next week, I would imagine.
Is there any events?
By the way,
coming
up? Actually, like, most of the events that they teased were pretty much up, right? Like, Gamescom was like last week, the San Diego Comic-Con, it's like a lot of the events have already been gone. I think now it's just we're waiting for the release date.
Right. So,
by the way, did you mention? Is it 2022 Street Fighter V Evo?
Yes.
Right. All right, I'll watch that sometime then.
Yeah,
I like it when it's exciting.
It was super. It was super fun, and especially the IDOM versus, gosh, who was it? It was a Laura versus Colleen match. And it was so much fun to watch, dude. It was awesome. And the big thing, Street Fighter V at the end of its life cycle, it was like Luke's everywhere. If you watched any if you watched any other tournament, it's just Luke mirror matches, and that's all it was. But for whatever reason, Evo 2022, it was Guile versus Jury versus Colleen versus Laura versus there was a Luke in there, and it was so much fun to watch.
Interesting.
So, yeah, so I would definitely watch it.
I'm excited. I'll check that out soon.
Yeah. But yeah, before we log off, is there any final thoughts that you have?
Final thoughts? Well, like I said before, excited for the game. Excited for this game has like the biggest potential out of all the like Mortal Kombat NRS games I feel like I've seen. It just feels like there's so much like it could do to like exceed expectations, and that's also risky too. So I am hoping that it'll be great. I'm hoping that it'll be new and fresh and exciting. Yeah, I think the cameo fighting system is going to be what it makes it stand out compared to other fighting games as of right now. So I hope that works out.
I agree a little bit, because the cameo system is very much like it's just an assist system, and I get that, but I think it's different enough from Dragon Ball FighterZ and Marvel vs. Capcom to stand on its own.
Yeah, I'm also mostly comparing to like the big dogs, like the most popular games. It's like there aren't that many like cameo systems, like assist type systems like in recent most popular games, or like Dragon Ball, like you mentioned. But I'm thinking like Tekken and Street Fighter, like, and I guess Guilty Gear are like the ones that are like really popular recently.
Tekken, Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, and Mortal Kombat are like
Project L is gonna have assists too, so that's comparable there. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, but it's also it's a tag fighter ultimately, so it's
true.
So it's definitely gonna have that. But as far as like the current big namers, the Mount Rushmore as of right now is Guilty Gear, Street Fighter, Tekken, and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm. Even though Mortal Kombat had the lowest entry rate in Evo, like, but I mean, I don't blame them, because Mortal Kombat 11 I'm sorry, it just wasn't a good game.
So. It's also at the end of the life cycle too, and there's fresh new games. Well, people just love Marvel too, so Marvel vs. Capcom 3 obviously.
But also it's like Tekken has been really Tekken 7 is still like really going hard on the Tekken World Tour in all the competitions.
Yeah.
Like Tekken 8 is coming out next January. January 24th is Tekken 8. And Tekken 7 is still going hard. Dude, it's like it also is at the end of its life cycle, but I just think because Tekken 7 is that good of a game.
Yeah. Tekken 7 is got lots of
really, dude. Tekken 7 is arguably like it's like, I might catch crap for here. It is arguably one of the best fighting games ever created. Tekken 7 it's up there. It's up there with Third Strike. It's up there with Mortal Kombat 9. It's up there, dude. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is I would say like those are like, if I had to make a top 5, dude, Tekken 7 would be up there. So
nice.
But but anyway, thanks again for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was tons of fun. Thanks for reaching out to me when I was in Paris, I believe. No, I was in Italy. I was in Milan.
Was I in Paris or Italy?
Was I in the Colosseum, or was I like taking pictures next to the Pisa Tower, the Leaning Tower?
Was I in the cathedral, or
Yeah.
So, but gosh, dude, you sound so like, what's the word, dainty. You're just like, oh, dainty. You're like, yeah, but anyway, again, thank you for coming on, man. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. And
same.
I hope to have you on again when the game comes out again. I would love to hear more of your thoughts on the story. So
I'll be taking notes and like what I've been doing in the game and whatnot.
Yeah.
Especially when the game just comes out.
Yeah, and I'll make sure.
My first thing when the game comes out that I'll be doing is, are you going to stream it? I'm assuming you're probably going to stream when you play it, or I'm going to do is like probably like a couple hours before the game comes out. I'm just going to like shut off the internet, shut off everything that I can think of, because I don't want to get spoiled. I feel like the hour it's out, it'll be like, oh my gosh, Ultra dies. Okay, thank you. Whatever. It actually happened when Aftermath came out. It's like, because I'm pretty well known for like the Kodokan memes and stuff like that, because I made the Kodokan video and stuff like that. So it's like the hour Aftermath came out, I was in class, and it's like I look at my phone and it's like Kodokan gets like decapitated. Okay. I didn't even know Kodo was gonna be in Aftermath. Like, what? Isn't he like crippled? How can this happen? It actually happens. And I'm just like, I really wish I didn't knew that, but whatever. That's what. Gosh. I'm gonna shut the internet off, get all this out of me, rush to the story mode, and then I can finally use Twitter again or something.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do my best with that, because I mean, I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure they released the game on Greenwich time.
Greenwich. So they might get it earlier.
I said Greenwich, but like it's supposed to come out, like they put PST, Eastern Standard Time, Central Mountain Time and PST, but that's like for the whole world. I think they try to put it on like the same times. So I hope that the game doesn't come out like in the East like 2 or 3 hours earlier than it does like for us here. I don't even know what time. They actually haven't said on the 14th what time it actually comes out. That's not on the website. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm in Asia, so I was assuming it'll be on the 15th where I'm from, because we're ahead of time and stuff. So Yeah.
Either that or it's going to come out what would be our 13th. You know, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I mean, for you, well, now it's the 29th. I'm looking at the time right now. It's like, now it's the 29th, but
it's turned 29th over there.
But it just turned the 29th over here. Exactly. It's 12 o'clock now. So, but yeah, thanks again for coming on, man. Audience, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, shred out.
Yeah.